Greetings, everybody. This is your boy, Legend Moyai. The topic we have to talk about today has been a burden of mine for the last 4 years. Relationships, or the lack thereof.
So men looking for casual dates and our relationships is down 50%, 50, since 2019. So as this trend continues, by 2040, 45% of women, 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single and childless based on this trend. Let that sink in for a moment.
This week, I found cause to worry about young men. This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not. The story reported that as of 2022, Pew Research Center found 30% of U.S. adults are neither married, living with a partner, nor engaged in a committed relationship. Nearly half of all young adults are single. Now, look at these numbers. 34% of women, twice as many, a whopping 63% of men. What explains that?
I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that 63% of men under 30 are electively single.
Disclaimer, me and my wife went through a rough patch. I mean rough. I'll share our testimony one day, but because we submitted to God and was reconciled back to one another, God used us in our church's marriage ministry. One day, a member who was formerly married, she was widowed, brought to my attention that we have a big emphasis of marriage in our church. This led me to know what was the beat on singlehood, and that led me to the red pill. It's a philosophy that's, in essence, steeped in Proverbs. You can call it older male talks to younger male.
But these modern women believe they can do whatever they want and still land the man of their dreams.
So now you want a top 2% guy that also won't cheat on you. This is a unicorn.
I mean,
this isn't. And so even you're a nice woman, right? You're pleasant, right? And I don't think you're asking these men to spend crazy amounts of money on you, but you're still a normal girl that's asking for a top 1% man.
Well, with all due respect, you're a sex worker, so yes, you do deserve less.
Pretty
but
much.
Sorry. That's the reality. Fast money comes with slow problems, and one of those is that if you decide to go into certain professions, you might not deserve a certain caliber of guy.
Big brother conversations, uncle to nephew conversations, but it's about what young men should avoid in relationships, mainly how to avoid the modern woman. So I want to lay out an outline on how I want to tackle today's topic. First, it's the history of the issue. We're going to talk about the Garden of Eden, the New Age agenda, welfare, and radical feminism. Second is the breakdown of the family, the lack of men, males raised by single mothers, and abortion. Third, the modern woman, her sexuality, her standards, her hypermasculinity, and how she's a subpar woman. Fourthly, and lastly, possible solutions. We got the red pills answers, we got MGTOW, and we got possibly a return to guard standards. Before we continue, I want to give a list of words that some may not be familiar with. You can jump back to this section if you hear one of these words that you don't know the meaning. We got hypergamy, the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. Misogyny, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. Body count, it's the number of sexual partners. A 304, she a hoe or whoremonger if that's too much for you. Toxic masculinity, it's a belief that male boundaries or standards are bad. Misandry, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men. Passport bro, men who go overseas to find a traditional acting wife. Grooming, the act of building trust with a young woman to manipulate or exploit them. I mean, it could be a young man, but in the context, it's young woman. MGTOW, it's an acronym. Men going their own way. Sprinkle, sprinkle. An acknowledgement that one is adhering to modern women's teachings. Drizzle, drizzle. Mockery of men about sprinkle, sprinkle by using the same rhetoric. DM, or direct message. Anyone familiar with cell phones and text messaging and all of that? Direct message, DM. Trad wife. Traditional wife role for women. Girls trips. These are women who go overseas for sexual escapades. Narcissist. A person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. Chad / Tyrone. He's the bad boy or pretty boy that girls will sleep with without vetting them. A 10. The perfect beauty standard for a woman. The Wall. Age 30 and older for women. It's undefeated. At the age of 30, a woman has lost 90% of her eggs. Ghosting. Dropping out of a relationship without informing the other party. Foodie call. When a woman goes out with a man just to get something to eat, she'll often get food to take home, possibly for her kids. Incel. An online subculture of people who define themselves as unable to get a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Blue pill refers to a person who is content to accept social norms without questioning them, often seen as ignorant of uncomfortable truths. Red pill, a set of beliefs that emphasizes traditional gender roles, male self-improvement, and a critical view of radical feminism. The truth about dating in the West. Black pill, a belief that one's social and romantic prospects are predetermined by factors such as physical attractiveness, social status, and genetics, leading one to a sense of hopelessness and isolation. Dusty, a man who doesn't fit the woman's standards. And sign language, it's a woman's defense tactics. She uses shame, she insults, she guilts the man, and she has a need to be right. The problem we're dealing with isn't new, but it's alarming. Back in Genesis, when the first sin was committed, God's punishment sparked what we're dealing with today. Genesis 3:16. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you.
There's nothing a man should fear more than a woman who's comfortable being alone. I am good being alone. I am fine. So you have to be better than me. You have to make it so that I want to be with you instead of being with me. How are you going to do that?
American women versus international women. Why would I want to deal with a loudmouth, ignorant, masculine energy, talks back, disrespectful, not submissive woman here in the U.S.?
So most men would see American women as that?
Well, I don't know what you would qualify as most men. I think there's a big segment of the population of men that are looking that would have that idea.
You would have.
And you said I was special, but you gave me the mic.
Maybe we should go for a beer and talk about it.
Don't you dare call me bro. I break your head, I promise.
I can tell you straight off the bat why this woman is single and why so many women are single is because they're argumentative, because they're combative. She is responding in a way that is masculine, and it turns men off.
Female hyper users of Instagram are also, they're sadistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic, and narcissistic, and they optimize for short-term mating strategies. So they're promiscuous, and that's a marker for antisocial behavior. Antisocial people, broadly speaking, have more partners. They start engaging earlier. They're more callous in their utilization of themselves than others. And so...
Would you call that toxic femininity? Is there such a thing as toxic
absolutely.
femininity?
We know what toxic femininity is. It's,
okay.
It's the female version of antisocial behavior is reputation savaging. Yeah. Gossip, innuendo, backbiting, and females can be very good at that. Now, men can do that too, and they do, especially on social media. But it's definitely the case that social media enables female antisocial type behavior, clearly. And so it scales. We were talking about, whether the feminine ethos scales. Feminine pathology scales magnificently on social media. And so God only knows what the consequence of that's going to be.
I believe that men and women are best as a team. I don't think any woman will be truly happy without a man, and I certainly know that no man will be happy without a woman. I think it's absolutely beautiful when we work as couples and we create families and we stick to our strengths. When men stick to what they're good at and a woman sticks to what they're good at, that makes them the most powerful team on the planet. And the world we're living in now, we have societal pressures and propagandas which are trying very hard to divide and split the genders. But truthfully, the power and the beauty of the universe relies on us working together. So
God intended man and woman to walk together as equals. But because of sin, God put the woman under the man due to her being the seed. 1 Corinthians 11, 2 and 3. Now I praise you, brethren, to remember me in all things and keep the traditions just as I delivered them to you. But I want you to know that the head of every man is Christ. The head of a woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. This structure works because our Creator said it's how it's supposed to work. Because He created our physiology, He knows how males and females work best in a relationship dynamic. This is the order that God Himself has set up, and it's under attack. Just to set the record straight, God made men and women to come together in marriage to have kids. Genesis 1, 26 through 28. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Just not one another. No other variant of family biblically exists. If you got anything wrong with that, take it up with your Creator when you see it. Or you can leave a comment. I'll point you to Scripture, because that's the only thing that moves me to change, as it should with all Christians. The attack has always been there subtly, but not anymore. The New Age movement came about by two people, Helena Blavatsky. She lived from August 12th, 1831 to May 8th, 1891. And Aleister Crowley. He lived from October 12th, 1875 to December 1st, 1947. Helena Blavatsky was the beginning of science being the one truth. And Crowley took her beliefs and added a little hint of the devil onto it. Though he never claimed to be a Satanist, Crowley used the stereotypes that associated with Satanists and coined the satanic principle, do as thou wilt. Crowley developed the 10-step program of the New Age agenda. 1. Push God out of schools. Madeline Mary O'Hare. 2. Break the traditional Judeo-Christian family. 3. Remove the restrictions on sex. 4. Allow sex to be expressed in all of its forms. Homosexuality, bestiality. 5. Free to abort unwanted children. 6. Free to divorce. 7. Diffuse Christian radicalism. Example, Jesus is the way, not a way. 8. Use media to influence the masses on these agendas. 9. Deface art in all of its forms. And 10. Get the church to endorse all of these principles. If we take a quick glance at this, we can see that this agenda is already complete with the visible church. But I digress, because I want to focus on relationships as God intended them. I want to look at the huge milestones that we have been oblivious to that has gotten us to this point. And I mean those who profess the Lord Jesus Christ as our Lord. World War II, welfare, Cosmopolitan magazine, and hyperfeminism all play a part in specific order. World War II left a lot of women widows and children fatherless. government swiftly stepped in with the first welfare program meant to assist widows, fatherless children, or houses with a wounded soldier incapable of working to make ends meet on a temporary basis. Conditions to qualify for this aid usually was that the man couldn't be in the house or that he was unable to physically work. Through the years, this got out of hand, the idea of not having a man in the house. In pops Feminism and Cosmopolitan magazine.
The very beginning of the welfare system was the passage of the aid to dependent mothers early in the New Deal. And you know what? It was perfectly reasonable. What did they have in mind? Frances Perkins was Secretary of Labor at that time, and she had in mind widows. Widows with small children. And they needed help. What is a more natural object of our affection?
When the stock market crashed in 1929, the world entered the Great Depression. After his election in 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt instituted federal reforms to help the poor, including cash assistance for single mothers. With 20% unemployment in America, massive public works projects strengthen families by providing employment in a difficult time.
I pledge myself to a new deal for the American people.
Roads, public parks, dams and bridges were built, tying work directly to assistance. But even President Roosevelt realized that there was a limit to what the government could do.
President Roosevelt certainly said often that welfare was not intended to be for a lifetime and not intended to replace work. And to the extent that we've gotten away from that sentiment in some of our programs, that's unfortunate.
When President Lyndon Johnson launched his war on poverty in the 1960s, he pledged to eliminate poverty in America. But more than 5 decades, several welfare programs, and $25 trillion later, the welfare system has largely failed the poor. Currently, the United States spends about $1 trillion a year on over 90 different federal, state, and local welfare programs. Yet around 12% of Americans are still considered poor. We are clearly spending a lot of money. So why do we still have such a high poverty rate? The simplest answer is that the government does not count most welfare benefits as income when measuring poverty. That means taxpayers can spend and spend, but the poverty rate will always seem to remain unchanged. In reality, not even the government can spend $1 trillion a year and have no impact on poverty. Once cash, food, and housing benefits are measured accurately, the poverty rate falls from 12% to 4%. But does this mean the war on poverty has been a success? Not really. In launching the war on poverty, President Johnson declared that he wanted to address the causes, not just the symptoms of poverty. He said he intended to shrink, not increase, dependence on government. His goal was to increase self-sufficiency, the ability of individuals to support their families without reliance on government handouts. And that should remain our goal today. Unfortunately, by that very measure, the current welfare state is an absolute bust. What has gone wrong? Well, the main problem is that our welfare system discourages work and it penalizes marriage. Work and marriage clearly raise incomes, but more importantly, both are inherently linked to a person's well-being and happiness. For example, marriage is the #1 factor in promoting upward mobility for children. Because welfare is anti-work and anti-marriage, it inherently harms the very people it was supposed to help, especially children. Why has this happened? Well, as welfare benefits grew over the years, they increasingly served as a substitute for a working parent. Single mothers were discouraged from marrying the fathers of their children because that reduced their benefits. And as the role of the father was undermined, mothers were increasingly left to raise their children on their own. Sadly, that cycle continues today, as many children who grow up on welfare eventually follow in their parents' footsteps when they have families of their own.
Due to a large number of homes without a man fit to work, feminism pushed to get women in the workforce and make the same income as men. This in itself isn't bad. However, women throughout the years took it too far. With welfare in place, women could get their own jobs and leave a perfectly suitable provider at their own whim, because Uncle Sam would be their pseudo provider as long as they met the criteria. Single parent. So now women can work to get a moderate income and get assistance from Uncle Sam. Food and living assistance programs. Also, the tax system helps single parents as well. The child tax credit began in 1997, giving parents $2,000 per child on their taxes. What women were oblivious to was that Uncle Sam now set it up so that he can tax working women too, instead of just men. Ka-ching! So this takes care of the relative provision and the eviction of men from the household. Cosmopolitan magazine injected lies and deception. They coined that a woman doesn't need a man, and a man is putting the woman in bondage with traditional gender roles. It also wanted to remove the social stigma of a woman's promiscuity. Cosmo magazine invented lies about women and places, sometimes made up, living a glamorous lifestyle without a man and being able to sleep around with anyone they wanted. With their now procured job and support from their pimp, Uncle Sam, a lot of women drank the Kool-Aid.
How do we get to the point where so many young women today think to be free is to go to college, get a great degree, have a fantastic job, and be as sexually free as possible? How did those get joined together? Well, that was the question that people began to ask me after I had left Cosmo, and I began to investigate it. You have to understand a bit about how propaganda works. Propaganda isn't just a bunch of lies. People think, oh, propaganda, I can spot it in a minute because it's just a bunch of lies. No, propaganda is very sophisticated. It's half-truth, selected truth, and truth out of context is used not to sell just products. It's also used to sell ideas. The feminist movement and the sexual revolution were two radically different movements. The feminist movement was fighting for equal opportunity for women in education and the workforce. The sexual revolution was fighting for all sorts of sexual freedoms. Cosmo, we pretended that this sexual revolution was a freedom for women. It actually was not. It was actually kind of a slavery. But we pretended it was freedom for women. And over time, as the sexual revolution and the women's movement got identified closer and closer together, a lot of women began to buy into that illusion. I wrote for Cosmo for about 20 years. I came out of J School, University of Missouri School of Journalism. I was trained very well to be a good reporter, and then I immediately fell from grace and started writing lies for Cosmopolitan magazine. I was fascinated with Cosmo, and I was fascinated with glamour and sophistication, and I always said I didn't want to be a big fish in a small pond. I wanted to be a small fish in a big pond. And Cosmo was, to me, was that big pond, and I was the little fish. Helen Gurley Brown was the editor of Cosmo. She's the one that took Cosmo and turned it from a general interest magazine into a sex rag.
It's a magazine to help this young woman realize dreams, hopes, ambitions, to help her find a man, keep a man, get him back if he's going, get a new one if he left.
Helen Gurley Brown had created a list of rules on how to write for Cosmo, and some of those rules included how to make up stories. So here's one of them. Unless you are a recognized authority on a subject, profound statements must be attributed to somebody appropriate, even if the writer has to invent the authority. Here's another one. Try to locate some of the buildings, restaurants, nightclubs, parks, streets, as well as entire case histories in cities other than New York, even if you deliberately have to plant them elsewhere. Most writers live in New York. 92% of our readers do not.
That they didn't need a man. Thus, we get the sentiment, I'm a strong and independent woman who don't need a man.
Actually, it was said by an Australian social activist, Irina Dunn. She said, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
Who needs a man? Not me, baby.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question. Do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women, most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I mean, and by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men. Nobody can gossip like gay men. Nobody can help you accessorize like gay men. Nobody can help you keep you from doing harm to yourself like gay men.
Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
Honestly, no.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
Because they suck.
I'd give anything to watch those women spend a single day as a plumber. Go be a plumber. Operate as a plumber for 9 hours. See if you can last. See if you can cut it for a single day in a manual labor job that virtually only men do.
Feminism pushed that women should be sexually free. They don't need a man, and women should be free to get rid of any wanted babies via abortion.
And just when you thought our society cannot sink any lower, we invent a new hashtag. That's right, shout your abortion.
So I'm 30 years old now. I've had 2 abortions in my lifetime, one when I was 18 and one when I was 24. Both with very supportive partners, and I don't regret any of those decisions. And why? Well, I got to live the life that I wanted.
As a woman who has borne 2 children, I can affirm that I felt something sacred happening in my gestating body during those pregnancies. I can also attest that I felt God's presence with me as I made the decision to end 2 pregnancies.
Total free world. We're advocates of not mistreating little children to death. That's the position that we oppose, the F them kids position. Third time I've heard it today. What's that? F them kids? We do think that that's what it's about. We think that the reason people like yourself like abortion is because you hate kids. And because you hate God, who created those kids and made them in his image.
I think murder's pretty cool.
Murder's cool?
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they do nothing all day.
Do we need men?
No, like, we just sit there.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they're icky.
So we see the temporary solution of welfare was intended for a period of time, but it was abused as it left families without a man or made it easier for a woman not to honor her commitment and stay with her man in hard times. They can easily leave a man because they had the support from Uncle Sam. All the stats we have on single family homes show that it's the worst scenario for kids. But as the years progress, women began to care less and less about kids.
Ideal situation is the traditional nuclear family of mother, father, children, boom. And then they said, so that's the ideal situation for your kids to turn out a well-functioning member of society. And then what was interesting is when raised by a single mother, there was a drastic fall off in the children, in their behavior, in their grades, in their friends, and it just, kind of like your biggest fear. And then they showed a stat of single fathers, and it was the exact same outcome of a 2-parent household.
Statistics all over your internet will let you know a child is far better off with a father in their life. And mind you, I'm sure you done left the man. And if that's the case, don't continue to run this man in the dirt. Let the kid figure out if their father's a deadbeat or not. And furthermore, if he's such an idiot and he's such a horrible man, then how'd you get a kid by him?
That shouldn't be a shock, as the number of abortions from 1973 to 2020 is approximately 63 million. Of those, 23.94 million were in African American homes, and we get that from the Gottmacher Institute. If black women didn't fall for the feminism lie, African Americans wouldn't be a minority in the United States. So there were many factors of single mother homes, but they start back in the 50s because of World War II's impact. Single mother households were around about 7%, but they're around 24% as of 2021. That's around 10.6 million households. This increase brings about a rise in young men being raised by their mothers. If we follow the trend, we have single mothers in recent years in the majority, and not because of widowhood, but because of their choice. They either left a man or had kids out of wedlock. With feminism's tentacles in our society, women aren't ostracized for being promiscuous or breaking up their homes in divorce. It's a well-known fact that women lead in divorce due to the no-fault divorce policies in the United States.
80% of divorces are filed by women. And why is that? So the comment that I got was, why do so many women leave their husbands simply because they are unhappy or bored?
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes.
Anyone who's not convinced yet that the big divorce is coming,
I totally agree that the big divorce is coming and it's going to be a rude awakening for men. Well, I hope it's the rude awakening that men have needed for thousands of years.
We have the data to show that women initiate most of the breakups, almost 80% of them. Divorces, regular breakups in general.
Men no longer have to be an abuser or a cheater for a woman to leave them. A woman can simply choose to not feel the marriage anymore, and they can leave. There are exceptions that are not following this trend, but we're talking about the majority of divorces. Yes, some men divorce women. Yes, some men cheat. But this isn't what it is leading in divorces. Can a woman raise a male to be a man? She can try, but often fail. All the stats show the best outcome for all children is when a father and a mother is in the house. Next is a single father, and then dead last is single mother households. Are there exceptions? Yes, but it's not the majority. This brings us to the main event, the modern woman. This type of woman is vain, materialistic, delusional, entitled, not a homemaker, not wife material, and not an adult.
You like that too?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I
do.
No, you gotta know my Spanish is coming in. Hold on.
I'm
good at it.
What is your body count?
Oh, I'm a virgin.
For real? Okay. What are the chances I can make it one tonight?
100%.
What's your body count?
I'm gonna say 300. 300 bodies at 20 years old?
I have to twerk for 5 seconds.
Go ahead.
But wait! There's more!
I have a boyfriend.
Would you stay with a man that beats you every Friday, but he pays you $800?
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just an athlete. They're really dumb.
You did a video talking about sucking dick.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's an art.
This type of woman looks at men as an ATM and a means to make their life easy at his expense. With the feminism culture locked in our society, no one really can challenge this type of woman.
Would you date me?
Baby, we couldn't even get a drink together.
Why?
You can't buy me nothing.
What do you mean?
Look at your outfit. What are you wearing?
I think I look pretty fly.
For who, your mom?
Maybe.
Not for me.
As a woman, you should not be crying over a broke man. He already failed at providing, and now he has the audacity to break your heart. There's too many broke in this equation. Praise God that the trash took itself out. Next caller. Praise God that the trash took itself out. Next caller.
So does that mean that we should walk around and not aim to have the best man? Like we should just be
A lot of
like
you guys don't deserve it.
settling and
Yeah.
saying that we are gonna settle for the
Because to be
less than
very
guy?
candid with you, most women don't deserve a high value man. Most women barely qualify for an average guy. And a lot of women think that they deserve an above average man, and the reality is a lot of y'all don't. A guy that's 5'7", making 37, 40K per year, he's probably going to be a fantastic and good husband, but a lot of women would never give him a chance. He's invisible to a lot of women.
Protect feminism or low gas prices?
I guess low gas prices, because ever since the feminist movement, it's been a lot harder for me to find a guy to pay my bills.
I've always had an issue with my body, like with my boobs or whatever. At my old school, I was like always called that annoying girl with the big boobs. One day during COVID, I was like, why not just post a TikTok during this like trend where it was like, make a secret account and it'll blow up. And it blew up because of my boobs. And I was like, dude, this is so easy, like marketing. And I came to terms with it because I was supposed to get a breast reduction too. Within that month.
Are you not going to do that anymore?
No, not at all.
It's not worth it.
No, it's like my primary money maker.
Remember Believe All Women? Or how about the Me Too movement? This type of woman has so many partners that she could have easily slept with a small town or city. She has been called a 304. Take a calculator out, put 304 in it, and then turn it upside down.
Morning, so today is the day where I get run through by 100 guys. How many condoms I have, for fuck's sake. First group scene done. That was a lot of fun. And now I'm on to number 16. 27 p.m. I think about 70 people through. This is what the room is looking like. Not in the best state. We've kind of got things everywhere. Apologies that this vlog ends very abruptly here, but after being ran through by 101 guys for 14 hours straight, I just conked out after I finished.
People judge me because I slept with 300 people last year.
With the increase of her body count, she feels empowered. She believes that she's doing what men are doing, but she's only doing what about 20% of men can do. These are the high earners and Chads and Tyrones of society. Pretty boys or ladies' men that can have multiple partners in their life. The average guy doesn't have sexual relations anywhere near these women. Truthfully, 33% of men haven't had any sexual activity in the last year. If you bring about male standards and male preferences to let these women know they're going down the path of folly, they, the media, social media, will ridicule you, cancel you, defame your name, and label you a misogynist. Because men value beauty, youth, and fertility, they will call you a groomer if you like youthful, fertile, friendly women. If a male is confident in what he can offer and firm and what he won't compromise with, they'll label him as a narcissist. Interestingly enough, these women don't know how to use words because a true narcissist wouldn't even get married. A narcissist is in love with himself. The only exception would be if he was the type of male to have a woman take care of him. But that's a discussion for another day.
How disgusting that we live in this self-care, self-love, girl, you're a queen, pour yourself a glass of rosé and take a bubble bath and run away from your problems culture. As soon as you say that a man should have value in himself, high value in himself, you are promoting violent misogyny and sexism.
Stay woke, gents. Mainstream media is clearly trying to feminize you. It wants you to be a weak, powerless victim so that they can control you. And they can control you to being a consumer. You can't control a strong man because a strong man creates his own reality to exist and reside within.
You've had a guy come up to you trying to get your socials while you had a boyfriend and you gave it to them?
Yes, because you can't trust men.
I don't know why everyone comes on the internet about sexism, because I'm sexist. I'm sexist as shit. I hate men.
But actually, I'm not sexist because I hate women too. And that is the true meaning of feminism, equality. Also, I'm really only a feminist at my convenience because I'm a feminist until there's something real heavy to carry. And then all of a sudden, I'm a damsel in distress. I don't care if I have to feed into your toxic masculinity, if that means I don't gotta carry some shit upstairs or something.
Modern women are out of touch with reality. Due to the rise of social media, average women who would rank anywhere from a 4 to a 6 on the beauty scale out of a range of 10 get males to oversaturate their ego online. When she would maybe get 1 to 10 males a year to give her attention if she stuck to a normal routine, she is now getting anywhere near between 10 to 500 likes or DMs a day. The attention is leading her brain to release dopamine, giving her an addiction to the attention. Unfortunately, these 4s or 6s believe they are now 10s. 10.
Another day of being hot in LA. You know what that means. Nobody's gonna talk to you, and the ones that do, it's like, what?
Alright, so I got one question for y'all. Y'all ready? Rate me 1 through 10.
Rate you 1 through 10 or rate your outfit through 1 through 10?
You wanna do both? That's okay if you wanna do both.
This is your video.
Okay, alright, rate me 1 through 10.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a 7.5.
Women hate to be left. You want to break a woman's ego? Reject her. I cannot tell you how many times I have dealt with women who I've turned them down and they couldn't handle it. Especially women who are pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous because they're used to getting everything you want. Women hate rejection because they love our male attention and validation. They need it. It is oxygen to them. It is currency to them. It is manna from heaven. Our attention, gentlemen, is a woman's lifeblood. They need it. And the sooner you guys start to realize that taking your attention away from women, taking your sex away from women, and telling women no is more powerful. It's more powerful than 6 figures. How about that?
Ask the ladies to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. Rate your physical appearance.
10.
10.
I guess a 10.
I already said this. I'm a 10.
Yeah, I'm a 10. 10.
Yeah, probably a 10.
10 though?
I want
Really?
to be honest.
The epitome of beauty. These women with so much makeup on, one would think they're a clown. Fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake breasts, fake butts in the form of BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts, tummy tucks, all types of surgeries, and lip fillers. A 10 is natural beauty and the highest quality. For all these women's modeling careers, 10s get modeling careers. 10s get modeling careers. They even have obese ladies calling themselves 10. Excuse me, Sailor.
What would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
That's like flawless though.
Yeah, I am flawless.
You're flawless? Okay, so like what? Like let's be real this time. All right, so like on 1 to 10, like for real, like realistically, what would you rate yourself?
A 10.
This one had copyrights. I'm a 10, but I get bullied into thinking I'm not.
Hey, what's your name?
Mango.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, what
That
would
is
you
not
rate
her
yourself?
name.
Like a solid 10.
Not like be serious.
She's solid. Ain't a 10.
I am being serious.
I know my value, I know my worth, and I know my beauty, and that is appreciated by other people because beauty is subjective. My fatness doesn't devalue me.
Why?
So I'm an 8. I have been pursued by many men who think I am gorgeous and beautiful. That perception exists whether you have it or not. So
Well,
guess what? I'll
and
never
if
be
you're
the
the-
only one who thinks
and
I'm
if
hot,
you're-
and I know that bugs the out of you.
But if I have the value judgment of hundreds of millions of people to compare the standard to, and I know that I'm below that threshold and just decide that I'm above that threshold anyway,
I'm not the only
that's not
person who
based
makes
on
that
anything
decision.
objective. You're just making up.
And what societal standards in which country?
I must
In
bug the
every
shit out of
country
you.
on planet Earth, she's not an 8. It's ridiculous.
To be fair, also, it's interesting to claim to be so religious and so close to Jesus and be so negative.
To tell the truth?
No, I'm just saying, just to be so
What would
negative.
Jesus do? He'd be
would
like,
t-
"You're a 10,
he would
sweetheart."
having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking or wakes up early in the morning or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
When do fat people get the highest beauty standard? Don't give me that it's in the eye of the beholder. Attraction is physical first, before anything else. Maturity can have you prioritize over things before beauty, but men never overlook beauty. Wars were fought over beautiful women. Men value it that much. That's why one of the biggest insults that you can give a woman is to call her ugly. Stop the cat. The delusion of the modern woman's beauty is just a piece of her delusion, a fraction. Their standards for men are ridiculous. They want a 6-foot man, 6-figure earner, 6-pack fit male, and 6 inches below the belt. It's dubbed 666.
Yo, I'm out here with my new girlfriend. We just out here chilling on Rodeo. I'm about to give her 10K right now. For real. Here you go, babe.
What's your ideal Asian man?
Honestly, older than me. So I'm 25, but no older than 35.
So 25 to 35?
26. I already did it a younger man. I won't do it again.
Ideal race?
Over 6 feet. Beefy.
Race.
I'm getting there.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just giving you more detail.
Okay.
Beefy black men.
All right, and then you said 6 foot?
Yeah.
Minimum income?
I mean, I would love a man with 6 figures, so yeah.
The probability of you finding your ideal man is a 0.069%.
I've already found mine.
Birthday, like you really just should have paid for all of our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why do T gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with me or you coming with me? You are you?
Whoa, bro!
So what would it take for you to like leave your boyfriend?
That's not possible.
10 million.
Yeah, we can discuss. I've got student loans to pay back.
What are you studying?
Media communication.
You should be studying quantum physics.
What's that?
You don't study quantum physics in school? No. The man them know.
Is that science based?
The man them know.
The man them know?
How short is too short in a guy?
Honestly, I'm really short, but because of my tattoo, you definitely have to be over 6 foot.
Huh?
Over 6 foot.
What's your ideal Asian man?
19 or older.
Ideal race?
I don't think I have one.
So any?
Any, yeah.
Minimum height?
6'5". I'm so sorry. Listen, it's not my fault.
Minimum income?
Like 400K or more.
The probability of you finding your ideal man is a 0% chance.
He's actually pretty prosperous. He's making close to $40,000 a year. But what are you laughing at? You're
How
laughing
much
at
are you?
Very low income, but it's okay. It's okay.
You know, what do you think the average income is?
The average minimum is 100,000. Like that's barely making it. In California especially too. That's like minimum wage.
Huh?
How short is too short in a guy?
I mean, I'm from New York, so you're gonna have to be like 6'6" to ride this ride.
What's your ideal Asian man?
19.
What's your ideal race?
White.
Minimum height?
5'10", 5'11".
Minimum income?
As long as you can care.
Do you have a number?
No.
That could be like 1,000.
No. I'll do 100 to 200.
I'll do 200 just for funds. The probability of you finding your ideal man is a 0%.
Perfect.
What's your ideal age in a man?
45 to 55.
Ideal race?
White.
Minimum height?
6 foot.
6 foot, beauty. Minimum income?
100,000.
The probability of you finding your ideal man is a 0.74%. She already found him. Let's go. W. What's your ideal Asian man?
Any age that could be a daddy is good. But how old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, so what's your number?
I'll give it to you after. Ideal race?
I don't know. Nobody looks at your race.
So
It's all
any?
about a vibe.
So any?
Yes.
Minimum height?
Well, I'm short as
So anyone that's taller than me.
Minimum income.
I mean, at least more than 100.
The probability of you finding your ideal man is a 4.6% chance.
Well, let's be real. We already found him.
Didn't you want my number earlier? Wait.
If you're making $100K a year, how much do you want your guy to make?
Like,
We'll say a good 400. 400,000.
400?
Yeah.
I'd say 100K a year, that's a lot.
I would say 200. 200.
I would say 100, like the same.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that only the top 15% of the U.S. is making $100K, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
God.
Yeah.
I guess I expect the most.
150, 200.
I was thinking 400. Okay.
No, that's
400,
so much.
no. That's
Okay.
That's too much.
So why do you want your guy to make that much more than you?
I guess just so that I don't have to worry about anything ever. I don't know. Like, why not? If I can find him, then why not?
So you just look nice and pretty and he just takes care of everything?
It's like a trophy wife. Yeah, that's exactly.
So what do you think about this statement? My money is our money and her money is hers.
Period. Oh, I love that statement. I love that.
If you
That's
marry
exactly
someone,
right.
Like, you need to be like
That's
that.
exactly right. But I also think that our money is our
I
money.
would share.
I don't need
I
my
would share
own,
my
but like
money.
I would too.
I would 100% share
I
my
think
money.
It's ours.
100%. Yeah.
But if they want to just have mine as mine, that's okay too. But like, I would be open to sharing it.
How much money do you think a guy should make per year?
If I'm like dating them, it'd be nice if they were at least making 100,000.
What?
Like $1 million, $2 million.
I sentence you to 500 lashes.
300K.
3 figures.
Okay. So why is that?
Just because, like, that's a stable income, I'd say.
Millions.
Mills. Okay.
How much does a man gotta make a month to be with you?
He gotta make 40K a week.
40K a week?
A week?
Why 40K?
Make it a week.
How much do you make a week?
The question wasn't too hard. You said,
Alright. Do you make more than that?
that wasn't the question. Why you taking the question? You said how much he gotta make, not how much I gotta make.
What is the age range of your ideal man?
28.
23 to 28?
Yeah. I don't have a type.
Minimum height.
I'm 6'3".
And minimum income.
Just depends what's on that fee.
6 figures a year, I'm guessing?
Yes, that's actually perfect.
The probability of you finding your ideal man is 0.075%.
Oh, so I'm one of a kind. Okay.
Put 10.
5
Makes
to 10.
$70,000
Not
a
married,
year.
any
Not
race.
married, any race, and not obese.
Not
Anybody
obese,
wanna guess?
earning
Okay.
70,000 per year.
Anybody want to take a guess? What do you think?
18.
18%. 10%.
15.
15?
12.
What do you think?
10%.
What do you think?
7%.
Yeah?
20.
20?
3%.
Guys, we went below 100,000. We went below 6 feet tall. It is 1.5% of men that you guys are describing.
What would you want his income to be? I feel like this is gonna sound bad. I feel like 300,000.
I would have to say 127.
Probably 150 to $250,000 a year. $500,000. Is that bad? 150, maybe to 250,000 a year. It would be comfortable for sure. I was just having this conversation with my friend, and she was like, you have to manifest a husband. Ideally, my husband needs to be making like 650,000. So you said you want 500K, but what do you think the median income is for a 30-year-old? 60K? 70K? It is $45,000. Oh my God, really? Yeah. I think it's 250,000. It's 52,000. What? No, it's not.
How much should a guy earn for you to date him?
Over 500K, close to $1 million. If he doesn't, I'm not gonna say yes. Do you hear me?
How much should the guy pay for the engagement ring?
He needs to pay again. 500. He gets paid every year. 500. He saves that towards the ring. If he doesn't, he's gonna get a no, and it's gonna be embarrassing. You're welcome.
The thing that women never want to admit is that, and I've said this a million times, you know, all girls are gold diggers, some are just better at hiding the shovel. And what I mean by that, right, is you got the girl that says, I want ambition, or I want drive, blah, 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 which is code term for the ability to procure resources for a later time for me. Or there's some girls that are overt about it. I got a big shovel, I need a guy that's a millionaire, etc., because I make money, or I deserve it. So yes, you can sit here and say, I like it for him, but the thing is this, women typically just end at 10, but they don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The man has to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because he's not gonna get to 10 and even be seen unless he has certain prerequisites.
What's the percentage of men 6 feet tall in the United States? 14%. How about men making over 6 figures a year? 19 to 20%. Why do all these ladies think they'll get, qualify for, or meet the criteria of these men who fit their criteria? But what is the standard criteria of a male looking to have a family? The woman needs to be fit, friendly or agreeable, feminine, and childless.
Hey, I'm just trying to tell you that your purse is on top of your car.
Mind your own business.
Okay.
What makes a high value woman?
Oh, God.
What's that?
Concepts foreign to you. Modesty, being demure.
Modesty. What does modesty?
Yeah, modesty in character, modesty in appearance, modesty in her demeanor.
You just don't like it when a woman is outspoken. You're intimidated by that.
You just met me like 10 minutes ago.
Okay, and let's...
broke up with him. It was too much. He was too great. We dated for 3 months. He was not a pushover. He had friends. He was cool. He was perfect. And he took me places and spent money on me. He had a car and he had a bank account and he had health insurance. And I broke up with him. I went back to my ex who got me a $15 gift card to Taco Bell for my birthday.
What is one secret you never told your ex?
I cheated on you.
How many times?
Like 17.
Your fiance right now, if he gave you a guilt-free pass to sleep with anybody, would you use it?
If it was Michael B. Jordan, yes.
And actually, I think women can make up for it, their looks in some ways, and that's by being feminine, submissive. Like if a girl like can bring you peace, I think most men would sacrifice on the looks front if she brings you peace, she's feminine, she's submissive. I think you ask most men, would you rather have like a chick who's a 9, who's a smoke show, who's an absolute babe, but she's just, you know,
I think that goes
just like
for
masculine and uncooperative and all this stuff, and promiscuous. That's the other thing. If you're or you have a low body count, that can bump you up in terms of your attractiveness to a guy.
Feminine traits can be described as 1, empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. 2, nurturing, a focus on caregiving and support, often associated with roles like mothering or helping others grow emotionally, mentally, or physically. 3, compassion, a deep concern for others and a desire to alleviate suffering or distress, often showing kindness and warmth. 4th, emotional expressiveness, a greater tendency to openly express emotions such as happiness, sadness, or concern, as compared to more reserved or stoic traits often associated with masculinity. 5th, gentleness, a soft, calm, and patient approach to others and situations. Gentleness is often linked to calmness and non-aggressiveness. 6, cooperativeness, a tendency to work well with others, seeking collaboration, harmony, and consensus rather than competition or dominance. 7th, modesty, humility, particularly in how one interacts with others and avoids drawing too much attention to oneself. 8, sensitivity, a heightened awareness of others' feelings, and a delicate approach to relationships and communication. 9th, grace, both physically and social elegance and movement and manners, often characterized by refinement, poise, and dignity. 10, patience, the capacity to wait, endure, or tolerate difficult situations or people without becoming annoyed or anxious, often associated with nurturing roles. And 11th, supportiveness, offering encouragement, help, or reassurance to others, particularly in a personal or emotional situations. All of that is what feminine means. If males stated they're looking for this, they're considered toxic or give off toxic masculinity.
You think that selling your online and using the money that you make from that translates to any sort of intelligence or skill?
I have a degree.
A degree in what?
Philosophy. I could go onto grad school and become a lawyer if I wanted.
That's a good point. You could have become a very well-respected lawyer, had a good career. What do you think your kids are gonna think when they said, oh, my mom had two options? They could have been a philosopher and a lawyer who made a lot of money, but they decided to be an online for 2 years, and then when they got ugly, now nobody wants to hire them anymore because they ruined their name and their reputation.
If any young women are watching, please do not model your lifestyle after her. Thank you very much.
And that's from the Christian man.
Yes, I'm looking out for you young ladies. If you
I'm
ever,
not judging
if
you.
you ever, that's fine. But if you ever want to get married, there's a lot of young girls out there who want to get married someday. If pictures of yourself doing things are all over the internet, your husband and your kids will not appreciate that.
What are your kids going to think of this?
I think Northwest is doing just fine.
Northwest.
Yeah, she's living her life.
Kanye's.
Yeah, she's doing great with her mom.
I mean, given the option between a mom who has on the internet versus one who doesn't have internet, I would prefer if all of my friends couldn't see my mom other dudes and
I still
no
consider
guy
myself
wants
a
that.
Christian. I still consider myself a Christian. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and I'm not a judgmental person like you.
Solution comes in, and it is the idea that you had with a NBA athlete, with a famous DJ, an actor, with a famous country singer, and then maybe you had with them again whenever they came through town, and you started telling your friends you were dating him, but of course everyone knows you're not dating him. He has a wife back home and whatever, and you start believing, because in your mind you attribute this athlete, artist, whoever as a 10, you start thinking your value 10 also. So sad when I watch some of my friends that get into their 30s and 40s and they legitimately tell me that they were dating someone. I'm like, you weren't dating that person. I've literally been to his house with his wife and kids. We're never dating him.
Give you a thesaurus, a list, an encyclopedia. Ask what she brings to the table. You can't write it on the back of a stamp.
If I ask her what she was up to this week, and it doesn't involve 4 different launch parties and dinner with at this special event and night out.
Can I say, like, that's their career, you know?
Yes.
So they're invited to these things and they have to network and
100%.
make those money moves.
You asked me a personal question. And if that's their career, that's fine. That's personally just on my will. A little bit more motherly, stays at home, maybe sure she has a career, but I don't want a girl that's flying out multiple times a year for these big events and has to stay out late and associate herself in circles which for me are just friends. I don't personally associate myself because I just know good things don't happen in those circles.
That any emotional labor I do that's not for her convenience or not that she's something she specifically asked for, that either goes unnoticed or when I'm saying something that's not favorable, it gets used against me and it becomes about how she feels about what I said and not about the shit that I said.
Ladies, he making something too much sense. Somebody cry. Somebody cry. Somebody cry.
So because saying that, all right, now we got our own money, we want y'all to be emotionally intelligent, that's a great fucking argument until it becomes a real life situation and you start to deal with an emotionally intelligent and you realize it ain't been enough of them in your life and you don't know what to do with that type of...
You're not lying.
Don't come sitting in front of me that know how to express himself complaining when I express myself. You understand what I'm saying?
Dating and relationships, who is typically seen as the prize, the man or the woman?
The woman. Ooh, the woman for sure. The woman. The woman. The woman.
So if the woman is the prize, what would that make the man?
The wallet. Yeah.
Doesn't that place the man at a lower value and status to the woman?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Don't women typically want to date a man on her level or higher?
Yeah. Yes.
So don't women typically want to date a man who's a prize and not a loser?
No, I like to be better.
So if a woman declares herself the prize, isn't that relationship destined to fail?
No, because I know I'm a prize. And so I think that a man should value me for what I am.
But these are trad wives or traditional wives criteria. I don't understand how modern women want a traditional man, but don't think that a man with those types of values don't want a traditional wife. And traditional, they are not.
What is the worst thing an ex has done to you?
Nothing, honestly. My ex has actually been really good to me.
What's the worst thing you did to an ex?
I cheated.
Sensational.
Because he accused me of cheating, so I decided I was actually gonna go do it.
You do not sleep with somebody that we're not attracted to. We don't care if you're nice. guy sleeping on his mom's couch and he's got game. She won't friend zone him, but she'll friend zone a nice guy who does all the right things and she's not actually attracted to. She'll take your money, she'll take your time, and then she'll tell you goodbye. So make sure they're attracted to you before you spend money on them.
I'll give you a 7.
Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking wrong.
Emotional, damn it.
If you were to look at me and rate me on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate me?
I like a 6.
What are these men? They are savages. They must have been from the Ice Age. What would you rate me? Scale of 1 to 10.
Is this for YouTube? What up, YouTube?
I'll give you a solid 6.
What is your body count?
3.
Is that the truth?
Whatever she says is true.
Okay, what is your body count?
2.
Why are you lying to me?
All right. 3.
No, stop lying. Just say the
All right, like 14. Like 22, so it's fine.
Is that the truth?
Literally not, though. Hell no, it ain't.
What's your craziest confession?
Cheated on my boyfriend 3 times.
Okay, why?
Because he's a
Okay.
I'm still in love with my ex-boyfriend, and I have a new boyfriend.
I beg your pardon.
That's kind of crazy.
We're about to go see him.
It's an evil world we live in.
The whole time I was seeing him, I was kind of just using it as a psychology experiment, and I didn't really like the guy. I more just wanted to see if I could break his heart. And it was fun.
So did you break his heart then?
Just a wee bit. I hope I did a little damage.
Wow. Okay. Why do you hope that you did a little damage?
Just, I like humbling men.
You like humbling men?
Yeah. It's like my pastime.
Your pastime is humbling men. You do work at a strip club, so do you humble men there?
No, I take their money.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Yeah.
Do you deserve better?
Yeah.
Describe one point why you deserve better.
Everything about me is 10/10. I need the best.
So why did he cheat?
Yeah, drinking dope turned me to a superhero. Yeah.
You had no interest in him, but he'd take you out to dinner.
Yeah, he's actually on here right now.
He's in the chat.
Yeah,
Wait.
Harvey took me out to dinner a few times,
Oh,
but
no.
no interest. Me and him are like best friends now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like one of my closest friends, yeah.
So he's in the friend zone.
Oh, he's been in the friend
Rip.
zone.
Candles in the chat for Harvey.
Oh, Harvey. You see how they're all laughing at you? You got played, brother, for free meals from this big-chested woman. So she friend zones him after he's taken her to 2 dinners, or I don't know how much money he spent on her, and now she's mocking him on the internet. This is why I preach coffee dates. Don't let this happen to you.
How many bodies in college you think you got?
In college?
Yeah.
Only 2.
What's the chances I can make that 3?
Your number.
I have 25 right now.
25 is crazy.
Wait. I've been assaulted 1 time. Having to deal with all of that is why I slept with a lot of guys.
Sorry to hear that.
So you're saying 25 bodies while I'm 22 is crazy.
You putting up Brian numbers.
So you don't give a about people being sexually assaulted or anything like that.
Cooking and cleaning are akin to slavery. They want a man to pay on the first date, open their doors, cover all the household expenses, and giving them an allowance. Meanwhile, they had several kids with someone else, bringing nothing but baggage to the table/relationship, and think that just because they exist, that should be enough for the man because they offer themselves.
Is it a red flag if a girl has a high body count?
Yeah, of course.
What do you mean, of course?
Why does she have a high body
I
count?
don't know, maybe because why does a guy have a high body count?
A guy and a girl are not the same.
And what do you think a high body count is?
Anything over 2.
Female-dominated industries are beauty-related, correct?
Yes. That's the way things are right now. That should change.
Well, right, but why would women want to give up their power if they can use it to,
Because it shouldn't be the only power that we're able to hold in society.
Well, whether it should
When you don't give women a fair chance to gain power, they're going to do whatever it takes.
Well, is there anything stopping women from getting power any other way?
Yes, men.
Well, I mean, but men also give women their power, correct?
Not enough of it.
Well, obviously, if all
Not
the
in
men...
the ways it matters.
If all the men in the world were gay, how would women get power?
They should just... Because they're women.
What does that mean?
They're strong and better than men.
Well, right, but I'm saying if women couldn't use control men, then how would they get power?
Skip. Men don't have a say in women's life.
Do you think sexual empowerment of women in any way contributes to their own objectification?
No.
Does the fact that and OnlyFans exist prove that women are okay being objectified as long as they're getting paid?
No, it means that we can use our body the way that we want to without men's control.
Do you consider work to be real work?
Yes. Yes. And if you don't, you suck.
Why are women more accepting of women who can sell but are less likely to accept a man who can buy it?
Because it's empowering to be able to do what you want with your body when you want to be able to do it.
But isn't that like shaming your own customers?
No,
Well, how can you be a victim of your own product?
because it's my body. My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
You ever notice that the people that say body count doesn't matter always have the highest body counts? Or people that say, oh, you shouldn't be judged off of your past relationships always have the most terrible past relationship histories? You know, a lot of times people are just avoiding the pain that comes with being held accountable, right? They don't want to feel the shame because the shame typically comes with accountability, and accountability is painful, right? And their realities are painful enough because they make terrible life decisions, right? So if I hold them accountable, they can't have that. So you know how they avoid the accountability? By trying to shame you, shame you for, actually caring about how many people I've slept with. Shame you for actually caring about my past relationship histories, and that actually mattering to you, and shame you for vetting me. I should be able to just date you because I exist. I'm a person. I'm a good person, right? Doesn't that count for something?
Listen, you can do whatever you want with your body, but at the end of the day, when you end up in your 30s and you're crying like these women in their 30s, yeah, because the men like us are not picking them because of the choices they made, they're not going to tell you this. They're going to tell you it's all about you. They're going to tell you, oh, it's the men's fault. You're going to find out. And then you know what happens then? They become very humble. Now they want to start cooking and making a sandwich. Oh, you got 2 youths. Oh, by Chad and Tyrone and Jerome. Oh, 3 even. Now you want to...
Now you can get more than a sandwich.
Yeah, and this is the thing. They start to get humble in their 30s. Yeah, in late 30s, they start to get real humble when they come with extra baggage, right? And what I'm trying to say to you is, they're not going to tell you this.
For as much as these modern women scream misogyny, they live and act out misandry every day. What else can you call it when women openly admit to foodie calls? That's when a woman goes out with a man just to use him for a free meal. Hatred of men is real. They spout that men are useless and that the world doesn't need a man. Interesting that they start spouting that nonsense now that men have made the world comfortable for them. Cars for them to drive, air-conditioned buildings, roads to drive on, indoor plumbing, energy-powered houses, and the internet to connect them to all of the luxuries they love.
Feminism, it turns women into men, and it actually makes men weaker. I'm sure you could also see the rise of feminine men.
From what you're saying, it does sound inherently misogynistic.
Can you define misogyny for me?
Specifically, actually, I have a...
So you don't know? You have to look it up?
I forgot how useless men are nowadays.
There's only masculinity, and there's aspects of masculinity that are convenient to women and that are inconvenient to women. If a guy guy is fluffing his chest full of bravado and stuff, you might want to see that on the basketball court. You might want to see that in sports. You might want to see that if your life is in danger and somebody's like posting up on him, you know the guy can fight, right? Oh, is that toxic? Well, it depends. Is your life in danger? Then I guess it's not toxic. It's only toxic masculinity until the floodwaters start rising and you need people to come, you need FEMA to come and pick you up. There's aspects of masculinity that are quote unquote toxic, but those are the ones that are inconvenient to the imperatives or the purposes of female mindset, right? So in a gynocentric feminine primary social order, we have terms like toxic masculinity, and it always defines the same masculine dynamic that women got no use for at that particular time until they do have a use.
Because we've created a generation of narcissistic women. And what's happened is the rise of social media and the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. Every poor choice is glamorized, and every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I.
These women act as masculine as men. And they are nothing like their great-grandmothers who might have been a woman of dignity. These women desire the 666, and if a man can't provide that for them, they call him a dusty. Mainly because the man doesn't see the point in paying such a cover charge for something that he deems as not as valuable. Men are expected to pay $200 to $300 on a date. Why? Most likely due to these women, when they were in their prime, aged 19 to 25, they were doing their girls' trips or being invited out on yachts or flown out on an expensive vacation by a wealthy man solely on their beauty.
No man should ever feel like your time is worth $20.
The larger issue isn't that women want to be impressed, it's that they want to be impressed by gesture and not the man.
Ooh.
It's like 300 on the bill. Any with money can 300 on the bill, or any dude that's desperate enough to fake it.
It's just about the effort. How long does it take you guys to drink coffee? Maybe like 5 to 8 minutes?
You can't fake generosity. You can't fake humility. You can't fake service. You can't fake leadership.
After you drink the coffee, what are you going to be doing? Biting your fingers, playing footsie?
But it's like, rather than look at the intangibles, because I ain't gonna lie, I personally got offended, because they put coffee dates on there.
If he's offering you coffee on the first date, you can only imagine the minimum of effort he's gonna put later down the line.
I'm gonna give away one of my plays, man. Coffee dates strip people down.
After you drink the coffee, what are you gonna be doing? Biting your fingers, playing footsie?
Yes, you may feel like you're getting a cheap experience. That's the point, because no one can hide behind money. I can't hide behind how much money I make. You can't hide behind how much money you put into your appearance. Both of us have to actually show up at the table as human beings. Mm-hmm. We have to engage one another. We have to have a real conversation.
There's guys out there who want you, right? But won't spend $100 on you.
How would y'all ladies feel if you told a man that you wanted him, but he told you you gotta give him $100 just to talk to him? It won't feel right, it won't seem right, it won't look right. So why do you feel that it's right for a man to give you money just because he like you? Feelings don't have nothing to do with money. That's why money is the root of all evil, because y'all allow money to overtake everything. Me personally, baby, a walk in the park is just fine for me. If a man wants you, he could show you without even having to spend any money.
Yes. Would you want me to open the door for you? Look. Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
Okay, so somebody made a list about all the places women don't want to be taken to on first dates. And I wasn't going to say nothing, but now y'all about to piss me off. So here we go. First of all, the only thing wrong with Cheesecake Factory is that the menu might give you an aneurysm, okay? For people like me with anxiety, I don't want to know your specials, okay? I'm going to order the same thing I always order. because I can't take it. My heart can't take it. Ain't nothing special about passing out in the booth next to somebody. But since y'all got so much to say, let me tell you about some other places you're not going. I know you're not going to work, because if you was, you wouldn't have time to sit on the internet and argue with strangers about hypotheticals, okay? You're not doing that. I know you're not going to the doctor, because STD rates are way too high. You're not going. Men don't know. The men don't know, and sis, you won't make them go. You're not going to see your kids. I know you're not, because they on the internet talking about what you ain't did for the last 12 years. You sure ain't going to the gym, because these BBLs killing y'all on the thighs don't match. And before you call me a pick-me, remember, I got a man and I like to roast back.
They expected all the men in their life to do the same. She equated the fact that those men who took interest in her beauty and probably some sexy time meant that she can retain a man of that caliber, status, or wealth. A man of that caliber can have almost any woman he wants. Women are attracted to a man's power, status, and money/provision. Women are hypergamous, meaning that in relationships they want to marry into a better social status than they are. Men typically married down in the past. Kings make queens out of any woman they marry. And most kings had more than one wife. That's not biblical, but it's in the Bible. Is that God's plan? No.
There has not been, in the history of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female, ever. Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, Big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting.
The average man is around 5'9" and he makes around $400 a year. Because of the delusion of the modern woman, these women would pass up on the average man for the Chad and Tyrone. Chad and Tyrone is either the bad boy that the women would let smash for free, not adhering to their standards, or he's super rich and she thought that she could have an easy life. Body after body, she racks up a body count higher than Mount Everest, getting further and further away from what men want for a wife. Let's talk about discussing this issue of dating among men and women.
No, so I'm saying you don't think men were more masculine back then than they are now?
Men in general, men worldwide were more masculine because we didn't have feminism. But see, the problem is black women, your mother's generation and your grandmother's generation, they really failed you guys because they told you didn't need a man. So you can't. Right. Who raised these feminine, weak black men that you have a problem with? Who raised them? Who raised them? 80% of black children are born out of wedlock. Who raised them?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
We did.
Who's we?
My mom or whoever my grandparents did.
Black who?
Women.
Thank you.
That's funny. Okay, do this. Mm-hmm. Ah! You look sickening, darling. Do you want to see it? Mm-hmm. Okay, look at yourself. Oh my days. Okay, get inside. This is so nice. It looks pretty there. Thank you, Jessie. You're welcome. Do you like it? Okay, cool. But yeah, continue.
Okay, since some of y'all need the confirmation from mental health professionals, if you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. If you want to be a slut, be a slut. If you want to go thought it out in the streets, buy bitch, be in the streets, but definitely be safe about it and try to find people that are reasonably sane. But other than that, YOLO, shake that shit open, because you know why? Because you know why? You're gonna die. And you want to be in your death, baby, like, damn, I should have slobbed on this nut. Like, come on, you want to be there? No. You want to tell your grandkids, yes, I was thotting. I was pop.
Body count.
42.
36.
In the 40s. But
Rough
body count
guess.
when I was 14 was 7.
Honestly, I lost count.
Yeah, I just don't know all of them.
How old are you?
18.
19.
Hoe phases are very much necessary. There's 5 dudes at my house, okay? All of them trained. I've slept with like a whole friend group. I got blacked. This guy's 20 minutes after I his best friend.
And it's been said that I've got some good.
What we gotta rate ourselves?
A 10. 10? A 10.
Men are the least needed members of society. I really hate it when men are like, if I'm paying all the bills, then you should at least be cooking and cleaning the house.
Rule number 1 to being a boss bitch.
is being a I used to date for personality, but now I'm dating for money.
Stop dating broke boys.
Here are a list of things I expect men to do in marriage. 1, pay the rent, mortgage, and 2, to do most of the cooking.
7-figure men do go for me.
A man doesn't need to take care of me. I'm gonna have my own kids.
I have a baby, I'm keeping it this time.
5 dudes. That's what's up.
That's
Men are typically expected to court women, approach women, ask them out on dates, maybe pick them up, pay for dates, make the first move, etc. What are women expected to do to build a relationship? So I'm talking about that initial stage. What are women expected to do?
Wait, so are we saying that like like he takes you on a date? Like,
no, he's like, so like when you're like, let's say like the first date, like usually on a first date, like a guy picks you up, like he takes you there and he's like expected to pay, but like what are like you expected to do, kind of like in these like dating like scenarios?
Just be yourself.
Bring good conversation.
Be yourself. Like are you expeced to impress him? Do you want to do a party trick? I don't know.
I feel like,
well, in what sense is our society male dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labor.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
Men don't get paid more than women because they do.
Women earn less because they deserve less. The reason why women earn less on average is because women work less hours, they work less dangerous jobs, they don't work career fields that are higher earning, and women are less likely to take as many risks as men are to earn income. That the top 10 paying jobs, right, are dominated by men versus the top least paying jobs are dominated by women because women don't have the same interests as men. Women get paid less because of choice. Women dominate college, yet they still earn less. They dominate college graduation, yet they still earn less. Women go into majors that pay less because of choice. They want to go into social sciences and not STEM. When you actually equate apples to apples, right, all working individuals with the same profession, same career, same education, same experience, etc., women actually earn more than men.
Okay.
You want a traditional man in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fair to say you're a traditional woman? I can answer
For the
that.
most part, yes.
Okay, but would a traditional woman have her body half naked on Instagram?
See, that's where I
Okay, but hear me out. You're exposing yourself in a sexual way.
Right.
You're condoning that.
I think it's based on the partnership. I think your partner would have to really be comfortable with your line of work.
Okay, but you want a traditional man. You want a traditional man, but see, this is the problem with a lot of modern day women. They don't want to be a traditional woman. Okay, so if you were with a man, the love of your life, and he was the perfect guy that you created, and that's the guy who says, Christina, you're in love with me, you do anything for me. Yep, I'll do anything for you, you do anything for me. I want you to close your Instagram account. Would you do it?
If I didn't have to rely on Instagram for work, and this was the perfect scenario where I knew this was my husband, I would not take away what makes me Christina.
But then you're not being traditional.
I be hearing the way y'all talk about us, ladies. I do. Y'all say we not. Y'all say we not smart. Y'all say we not smooth. So how do these that's not smart, not smooth, not keep finessing you? How? If it's not you. How do that's not smart? How do that don't got don't do don't give you? How they keep getting over on you? Who is it? If the not smart, if we got no game, if we don't know how to cheat, who is it? Like I'm not trying to be rude. I'm saying y'all not vetting these, bruh. Y'all do invest. You let tell you he got some plans for you and you start investing immediately. Y'all don't require no type of evidence for absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, who was you before you got here? What do you provide yourself? Do you feel safe in your own skin?
Hey, can
like,
the
what
record...
does that? Y'all don't have none of these answers from nobody, and then y'all come back outside and talk about it's a shortage. Beloved, you never had the answers to the test.
Men go off of logic, while the majority of women go off emotion. These facts resulted in a woman's natural defense being sign language, shaming the man, insulting him, guilt-tripping him, or a blatant need to be right, though she's dead wrong.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Did your mother go to college?
She didn't.
Did your father go to college?
He has a trade.
So your mother and father didn't go to college, they made you. And it's funny that the very people who come from nothing got so high of a standard for the next group of men.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we say when we talk about the social media delusion today that's rampant in women. They all think they need a top percentile man. They think that their man needs to make something insane like millions of dollars, or else how the hell are we going to survive? How am I going to stay at home on my heated pool and do nothing but tan all day and not even cook and be a city girl and live a trophy wife lifestyle when you're not even a trophy? You're a last place contender at best. You get the small little tiny sticker that says congratulations, you competed.
Who do you think's in control of
You're a
sex? Men or,
misogynist.
who do you think's in control of sex, men or women?
Oh, women.
So then wouldn't you say it's women's fault for giving out sex for free?
So let's not get this confused. I'm 100% that women are not being held accountable at all, right? But there's a balancing factor. Why can that coexist? Yes, we aren't holding each other accountable or things like that, but there's still a standard of men allowing that we aren't held accountable.
But
that's the only thing that I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm saying.
But see, what we've already proven is that it's not the majority of men. It is a 5 to 10% that women are choosing to give their bodies to and lay down with. Do you know there are between 18 and 30, there are, I think the number's 3 times the number of men who are virgins than there are than women who are virgins. Women can run through body count and run through. I did a video where I talked about how I read women's body counts, like women anonymously, business women. These were not women that were strippers and for the street. They actually gave their body count. There was a 29-year-old woman that had 150 plus. And she said, I wish it was higher.
Oh my God.
And even women who had low body count, low numbers of men, they said it should be higher. They actually feel embarrassed, like I should be living little. And I used to feel there's no shame about it. If you ask the same men, unless they are certain looks, they have a certain amount of looks or money, in status, they can't get the average woman. If all of us women went outside right now and was just like, listen, come back to the crib, let's go to the car, let's go to the alley, I'm gonna bust it down for you.
They would happen
I'm gonna give it
straight
to you.
away. Yeah.
We can rack up the whole city. We can rack up all of London in one night if
It's
we
a lot
chose
harder
to.
for them.
But a men, if they can go outside, even if they look good, even if they have the status, they still have a level of work. They maybe on a good night can maybe get 2 if they are just really, really, really.
I get a whole club. You talking about?
And the other issue is once you've had 5 partners as a chick, your chance of a happy marriage drops to 20, 30%. And this is the problem. Even if you escape, even if some simp bails you out of your bad decision, the truth of the matter is the person that it hurts the most really is ourselves, because promiscuity basically means that your chance of a happy marriage is very slim. If you were going to take a pill, and that pill you had a 80% chance of dying, a 70% chance of dying, you probably wouldn't take that pill. But it's interesting because women will take the promiscuity pill for over a decade and then wonder why they're in the situation that they're in.
We think single motherhood has been around for a long time. It really hasn't. This is a new concept, and they use marketing campaigns to get you to accept it. 1950s, 5%. Not a lot of children born to unwed mothers. We get to 2012, we're almost dang near half. Some communities, 70% of the children born to unwed mothers. Right now, the father absence is a crisis in America. I'm telling you this for a reason, because the guys that want to be fathers, probably half of you, will not even raise your kid from 0 to 18. The systems are already in place for you to not be in that home. So what does that lead to? Kids that grow up without a father, 4 times as much to be raised in poverty, 7 times likely to be a teenage pregnancy victim, more likely to experience child abuse. That's normally because single mother has moved in another man. Child obesity. Are we seeing this today? 2 times as likely to suffer from obesity. 73% of the prison inmates were raised in single parent household, primarily single mother.
My ideal man is African-American, dark complexion, 6'2", athletic body, 230 pounds, average dark eyes, straight, white teeth, all 32. God-fearing, spiritual attends, millionaire, generous, family-oriented as a family, sports spectator, not his friends, stand together, Dedicated to loving me, determined to make our love run. Sincere and genuine, nice, honest, trustworthy, faithful, dependable, mature, understands, chivalry, practices, adventurous, will try anything.
The female list would be like a laundry list of things that came down to height, income. They, of course, nobody wants to seem shallow, so they don't want to come right out and talk about what kind of car you drive, what part of town do you live in, what do you do for a living, but if you kind of take it in its entirety, it is pretty shallow in some ways, right? Because it's like, it's so specific to the point that, you know, women in their list, they don't realize you're talking about like not even 1% of the male population.
How long we been saying this?
But I'm a 30-year-old single woman. The dating scene was already very bleak. Now I've seen Travis Kelce, 6'5" NFL player Travis Kelce, publicly pursue Taylor Swift. I've seen him treat her like an actual princess, sliding her security out of the way so he can open her car door, holding her hand everywhere they go. I've seen this man get visible heart eyes every time he says her name. He blushes anytime someone mentions her. So I've watched all this unfold, and now I'm just supposed to go date these dusty-ass hinge men? Thanks, but I don't want it.
She's looking for that hot Chad for the moment, but she's not really thinking about the future at all. So she probably thinks that she can screw around with all these guys and go to these exotic locations, and then maybe when she's 30, she will settle and she'll find the right guy that's just waiting for her in her 30s. But little does she know, the older you get, the less options you have, the harder it is to actually date. This is why feminism is so dangerous to women. Women go around and think they have all this time to just party and have fun and have these shallow relationships that are really not meaningful. They're missing out on actual deeper relationships. This need to travel, like travel the world. One thing to travel sometimes, take vacations, but to never commit yourself to anything in your community, to a job, to another human being, in a relationship, it kind of seems like you are trying to run from something instead of building on something. But I think it speaks a lot about this generation that's kind of obsessed with this idea of like wanderlust and traveling the world.
Here's a lovely little PSA that nobody asked for.
Oh boy, buckle up, kids. This one's about to get real.
You wonder why the divorce rate's so high? You wonder why there's so many women in their 20s, 30s, 40s that are not in relationships or not getting married just because they plain don't want to?
Talk to me.
Or why there's so many single moms in the world right now?
Oh.
It's very easy, very simple. Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Oh, I see. Funny thing is, neither are men, and that's why we're walking away in droves. So, what's any different between men and women in this?
Let me say that again. Women are not accepting the bare minimum anymore.
We heard you, and guess what?
Women are not accepting the bare minimum, but there's so many single mothers today. So you accepted a Tyrone or a Chad's kid. You have the bare minimum. You're a single mom. Your own man left you. You got pumped and dumped and ghosted with a kid in tow.
Neither are men.
If you want to be a partner, please be a partner. If you want to be in a relationship, please give benefit.
Okay, we actually agree on this point. You should be getting benefit from your partner. So why don't you tell us a few of the benefits that you're going to provide?
To someone, I can pay my own bills. I can make my own food. I can raise my own kids.
Okay, guess what? We can do all those things too.
I understand that you're tired at the end of the workday, but so am I. But guess what? Someone has to do the laundry. Someone has to make dinner. Someone has to watch the kids.
And someone has to mow the lawn. Someone has to fix the car.
Clean the
someone
gutters.
has to, I could list a whole bunch of things that men do that really women don't count as doing chores because it's not something they value. And the funny thing is, even when we do all those things, you discount it because, well, it's not done the way you would do it.
If you're not going to do that with someone, then just don't do it.
Okay, we hear you. That's why we're walking away.
Because we can do it all ourselves.
And so can we.
And we have a lot less socks to turn right side in the laundry.
Well, you got me there. I stand corrected. You see, I thought the things that women valued were love, respect, taking care of one another. Nope, I was wrong. You enlightened me. It really comes down to one thing. The only thing that matters to women is whether the socks are turned in the right way. And people wonder why. Gentlemen are just plain done.
Men are simple creatures. They're simple, but your standards are standardizing you right out of the game. Everybody else is getting married. Everybody else is having babies. But you steady like, oh, I'm not settling. I'm not going to settle. I know what I deserve. And you know, even when I post those type of memes, I'm like, you know what? There's some real stuck up women right now that are about to read this, and it's going to reinforce literally their false standards, their ridiculous standards. You know what? I'm not gonna settle. But in the meantime, boo, you're not even half the things that you have on your list as requirements for a man. You're not even half those things. But you want that in a man.
I get paid $31 an hour. I date men above my caliber. So right now, I'm at $70,000 a year. He got to be at $100,000. Why would I want a man that could barely provide the same lifestyle that I could provide for myself?
I want you guys to learn 3 things from this video that you just watched. 1, women are hypergamous. Women never date down or look for a man below them or on their level. They always go at least 30% up. 2, she's a selfish woman. What she's saying is her money is her money. His money is her money as well. That means that she doesn't see any addition. That brings us to point number 3. Let's just say she finds a really nice guy that she gets along with, good heart, good everything, but he makes less than her. Let's just say hypothetically he makes $50,000. Now combine that with her $70,000. That's a household that now earns $120,000 a year and live very comfortably together because they're splitting expenses. But her brain cannot comprehend that. All she sees is his money. Stay away from women like this.
This is when it becomes a harsh reality, because a lot of us want a man that is only masculine when it benefits us. We want a man that's like a beast out there in the business world and he's making money, he's doing that, but we want him to come home and be all soft. And that's not how it works. And so I can tell you now that if you want a man that has all of these characteristics, then A, when he comes home, he's going to need you to not nag him. He's going to need you to shut up. He's going to need a peace of mind. Okay, he's going to need his ideas to be able to flow easily and his creative abilities to be able to come and flow as they should. And they're not going to be able to flow if he's backed up. By backed up, I mean he has a lot of things that he needs to release. He needs some sexual relief. So that means as a woman, you need to be able to have a high sex drive. You need to be able to provide natural lubricants. You know, he's going to need to have a full belly. That means you're going to be able to, you need to know how to cook. He's going to want a clean environment, a place of refuge. You need to be able to clean. You know, he needs you to be able to shut up when he asks you to shut up and not nag him. Now, none of this means that you are his slave. This does not mean that you cannot also have a career yourself. But if this is the type of man that you want, which a lot of women have these standards when it comes to men, then you got to understand that it's going to require you to be a different type of woman.
Groups of women who are taking the high value men, there are 3 groups of women: Latinas, Asians, and Eastern Europeans. These women are taking all the high value men, no matter where I go across this country.
Because they're more traditional. They aren't constantly fighting and bickering, nor do they bring other men's as kids to a high-value male's doorstep. The Western world is full of pettiness, attitude, and single moms that high-value males don't want to deal with. Many Western women aren't taught how to be wives because they're raised by single moms who were never wives themselves. Kevin Samuels dropped a lot of knowledge, but people couldn't see beyond their pride and ego to accept it. 100% correct. In Asia, the high-value men do not ask you out for drinks. They fly you to taste wine in France. If you like it, they might buy you the vineyard if you're lucky. They find it insulting if you offer to pay. They appreciate you cooking, but they have a chef. And great in bed. That's why we have low divorce rates while the men in America flex 500k salaries and scroll on Facebook. There is an actual high-value Singaporean man at work right now waiting for your divine nurturing touch and feminine energy. Because our cultures value family above all. We are raised in traditional homes and taught the importance of respect and gratuity.
They may be implemented even though a debate may not even be occurring. She just may not like what the guy is saying, or find that her argument is weak, or she doesn't want to own up to mistakes and take accountability. It is said that accountability is a woman's kryptonite.
why are men so intimidated by the idea of coming home to a independent woman?
We're not intimidated. It's
I
a
would
headache.
think that an independent woman, like independence, is an attractive quality.
No.
How would you define independence?
I mean, in simple terms, a woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man and wants to be also. I mean, I can provide in my own ways, and the man will provide in his own ways. However that dynamic works, it'll work.
Okay, so you said a woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by I'm trying to understand what do you mean by not?
I mean, I'm not a child. I don't need a parent. You know, I want to be in a partnership. I want somebody who will, if I'm younger than him, for example, I want him to strive to raise me to his level. Just like I feel like a top tier men are drawn to people who they want to be their peers eventually. They like lifting people up, and I think that in a relationship it should be the same.
Well, I think for me, I think you're viewing it as a woman. I think it's hard to view it as a man. I think it's a reality thing because there's certain things that you value that men wouldn't value. So, for example, if let's say you made $200,000 a year, right? And your man made $50,000 a year, you would eventually want him to get there. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Absolutely.
And if he was lazy and he didn't want to get there, he wanted to stay at 50,000, would that be a turnoff? If he didn't want to get better?
Yeah, it's not about laziness. Here's another example. If I wanted to study something and I knew that I wouldn't be able to work for the next 8 years, medical school, for example, then if my man is willing to support me, I want him to eventually be happy with my success.
Yeah. So let me finish my example, and I want to answer your question. So the point is that you guys want a man to get on your level. So guys, if a woman was making $50,000 and you're making $200,000, do you want her to make $200,000? Is that a priority for you guys?
No,
not
a priority.
So you see, guys, they don't view it that way. They you gotta think about it. Men are conditioned to protect and provide for thousands of years. So men are not looking for a teammate who can do what they do. You know, it's like the best way I can break it down
But it's
is
not about doing. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah.
I apologize. But it's not about doing what they do. It's about doing me and being supported and
So
supported emotionally and.
Here's a problem: a man with options can choose, and unfortunately, you're the worst option. No disrespect. No disrespect, because here's the reality. There's two guys, right? There's a guy that makes $500,000. All things are equal. They're both handsome. They're both tall. They're both successful in their own sense, right? One is a successful teacher making $50,000. One is a successful doctor making $500,000. Which one is more attractive?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I blinked out a second ago.
Okay, cool. So there's two guys, and everything is
Stupid.
equal. Okay.
Thank you.
One of them makes $50,000. One of them makes $500,000. Which one is more attractive? Everything is equal.
It's okay to say the truth.
I know.
It's okay.
Listen.
The feminism in her won't allow it.
No. I'll answer honestly.
I want an equal partner.
I'm just as mesmerized by fancy, shiny things as any other person is. I find that sometimes men who have a lot become entitled.
Listen. I just said everything was equal.
Okay, then yeah, for sure the man who has more because my life would be better.
Because you value that more. So what you got to understand is women who think independence, you like that in men.
Yeah.
A man being independent, a man not needing you, a man to be able to take care of his stuff on his own. That's what you value in men. Men don't want that in women. Because the reality of the matter is, when a woman is really turned on by a man, when a woman is really in love with a man, when she really respects him, she becomes utterly dependent upon him because she does not want him to leave.
So here's what I don't like. My biggest fear is to lose my independence and to rely on somebody else.
And know where that comes from? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I've been independent since I was 18, and I think it's a very important thing to me.
I know, but where does that fear come from?
I don't know. I don't want to rely on anyone. I wasn't brought up to rely on anyone, and I don't think
exactly that came. So what happened in childhood? Either your experience showed you, or somebody communicated that to you. Because you're talking about, I have a fear. You can't live your life according to fear.
When you pay attention to the passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia,
Yes.
The Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that
need them. Women that need
women
them.
are raised to be wives. They learn everything
these other communities,
from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
Stop yourself.
Y'all know y'all
That's
don't.
not true.
On a regular schmegler degular day, I'd say maybe a 6.
Okay. I will give you a 6. And a 6 is cute. A 5 is average. So if you're a cute woman, that's one step above average. The average black man in this country earns $41,500 for a lifetime. No more, no less. No Herculean methods, no lottery, no businesses. That's what he's going to make. That's your husband.
But what if I have degrees?
Thank you. See? That is why you could be on fries at McDonald's, but if you look like Kelly Rowland, you can marry a millionaire. But you could graduate from Harvard, but if you look like Precious, you ain't got nothing coming.
The book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% of the women you surveyed is settling? What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like, he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting, but then he did this Austin Powers impression and I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
Some of these modern women, when they find a guy who might take them seriously, fumble the ball with their ridiculous standards. A guy might take them out and spend a ridiculous amount of money on them. When he finds out that the woman's character is trash, he'll end up ghosting her. She was left in her delusional la-la land thinking everything was great, but the dude is like, she's insane. A guy doesn't want that much from a date. He just wants to know that the woman put some effort into pleasing him and that she's actually interested in him as a human being. But due to the lady's efforts, 63% of males are single and not even looking for a date. That's according to a Pew Research. How has all this information affected males and relationships in today's dating market? Well, online is how many are meeting today. The statistics show that 80% of women are only seeking out 20% of men. Males have always been the more unattractive sex because women are free to choose their mate without any vetting from an older man in her life due to what we discussed earlier. Most are choosing off the 666 standard. This limits women to at most 20% of the male population. When those men and their standards refuse to stay with one woman because they have the pick of the litter, women say, where have all the good men gone? Or all males are dogs. No kidding. If 20% of ladies are sharing the same 20% of men, then yeah, y'all can say that. But the stats show y'all reject or don't even give the time or day to the remaining 80% of men. That reminds me of Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. Women refuse to look at the remaining 80% of men who, most, wouldn't cheat or abuse them and treat them like queens.
Would you rather marry a guy who is rich, buys you a ton of fancy shit like Birkins, brings you on dope trips, but cheats on you? Or marry a broke dude who can't buy you shit and he doesn't cheat?
The second one does not cheat.
No, he don't cheat. He loves you. Like literally, he sends you flowers on the most random days with little teddy bears that are holding like a tiny balloon.
I'm gonna say the first guy. And here's why. Here's why.
This is why the red pill community exists.
I have a story I always tell everyone about when I was driving for Uber and I met a girl who figured out that I was good at this kind of stuff. She just picked it up really quick. And she asked me, she said, "Hey, I'm seeing this guy and he has all these other girls and he won't commit to me and I'm stuck here," basically is what she was saying. And she said, "How do I get him to pick me out of all the other women?" And, you know, I looked in the rearview mirror and I took a look at her and I had listened to her talking to her friend for a minute and I knew what kind of, you know, life she was living roughly. And I pretty much assessed that, you know, there's not a lot that you can do here, especially if this is the only other guy you're seeing. And I asked her that. I said, "Is the only guy you're seeing?" And she said, "Yeah, it was just the one guy, but he had 4 or 5 girls." She actually didn't know how many it was. And so I said to her, "How well do you know this guy?" And she said, "Pretty well." And I said, "What do you think he would say if you told him you have to have only me and get rid of all your other girls or I'm leaving?" Do you think he would keep the 4 other girls or keep you? And she said he would keep the 4 other girls. And I said, "And let me ask you this. What if I gave you 100% of my love and devotion and I gave you all of the good guy stuff I had to give? Would you dump him for me?" And she got really quiet. And I said, "Don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We're in an Uber. It doesn't matter." And she said, "No, I would not do that."
Top thing that men value above all things is purity. We do not want to imagine the woman we love taking a shot on the face or getting dominated by any other dude, you know, being a part of a or whatever goes on those sororities. We don't want to deal with that. It's not our ideal.
You would do it to other women. That's what is contradicting. You guys make that happen.
So the average guy, which you girls most likely ignore, doesn't do that.
Ignore?
So, but then guess what? Who gets the coverage is the top G's that can get anything. So most guys want to be like that playboy.
You have to understand they're adapting to the market. Most guys are young and they start really sweet. And what they're doing is they're looking for a young wife that wants to get married. They're trying to treat her well. And they find out that when they treat girls well, they don't get laid.
Women our age are more likely to be in relationships than men, which makes you think, who is everybody dating at the end of the day? If the women aren't dating the men, then...
What crosses my mind is I think there's perhaps 2 explanations. One, women in that age group are dating older men, 30 to 40. But I think the bigger thing is that women are maybe think they're in a relationship or are in a relationship and they're sharing higher quality guys. So, and there's this concept called hypergamy. Women are all chasing after the top tier of men. So a lot of women are happier sharing a top tier guy than settling for a guy that's actually on their level.
Do you think men prefer a natural body or a BBL? BBL. 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 You prefer natural bodies or BBL bodies?
Natural. 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 Natural.
They refuse to work with men because they make around the same amount of money or more than men. Their hypergamous nature refuse to do what men would gladly do, provide. They say, "I'm not taking care of no grown man," but isn't that part of the wedding vows? They don't love now. They marry for a comeuppance. Women think 80% of men are beneath.
He put me into nursing school. He got my hair, nails, everything done. So he up here on this level, I'm down here on this level. You get where I'm going? He got me up here with him because he was making good money. But then he ended up losing his job 2 years ago. Lost his job and now he broke. What did I do? Broke up with him and got on because I'm not finna take care of no grown man. I'm not doing that.
This has given rise to a few communities: incels / the black pillars, blue pillars, and red pillars. Incels are an online subculture of people who define themselves as unable to get a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Black pillars, the belief that one's social and romantic prospects are predetermined by factors such as their physical attractiveness, social status, and genetics, leading to a sense of hopelessness and isolation. Blue pill refers to a person who is content to accept societal norms without questioning them, often seen as ignorant of uncomfortable truths. And lastly, red pill. It's a set of beliefs that emphasizes traditional gender roles, male self-improvement, and a critical view of radical feminism. This is seen as the truth about dating in the West. The incels / black pillars and red pill may merge at one point. Or I should say that the incels / black pillars will find their solution in red pill. Anyone who's a blue pillar is either a Chad or Tyrone or a modern woman, and they're content with how dating is now. The red pill offers a dose of biblical truth, although some of its orators don't speak biblically. They stress that a man should improve himself mentally, financially, physically. They offer men red flags to look out for in dating modern women, much like the book of Proverbs. But their only solution is to move to another country where women were raised traditionally, or for men to go MGTOW. That's men going their own way, if you wanted to know what the acronym means.
It's one side. Look, that's why American relationships are failures. That's why American women, on a global context, are the worst for relationships, long-term period. That's why the divorce rate is the highest in the world here, and that's why, on the desirability level, American women are at the bottom of the global barrel. This is all statistically documented from men, because at the end of the day, the ones who decide if a woman is valuable for a relationship is men.
Well, the man is the person that's going to have to, obviously, propose and buy the ring and all that stuff.
And give them the ring.
Real quick, I just want to have everybody answer this.
Meanwhile, I had a one-night stand last night, and he says to me, "Oh my God, that was amazing. You want to play a game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Have you ever heard of the airplane game?" And I'm like, "Sounds kinky, but no. How do you play that?" And he's like, "You take the off."
But the world doesn't owe you understanding. So men don't go to women and say, "Accept me short, accept me broke, accept me fat." But we go to them and say, "Accept us ran through." That's not a fair deal.
Well, some women, a lot of women do accept men that are short and broke.
Not if you look at the data. Not if you look at the data. Men only swipe right on, or women only swipe right on dating apps 5% of the time. 5%. On the high end, 20%. Women do not accept, and that's the number one place that people are meeting today. So women, actually, we do not accept men that are short, broke, and fat. Historically, even throughout all of history, most men didn't even get to reproduce. That's a privilege.
I'm definitely an 8 per.
When I give myself a 5, I think I'm normal looking. And I just think it's based on my results. I think if I was an 8, 9, or 10, I would have had modeling contracts. There's people in the top 20% of beauty, they get modeling contracts.
What is beauty?
So what is beauty? You can go online and have people rate your pictures, and they rank you 1 to 10. And men will rate you, women will rate you, like every day.
That stuff's not really important to me.
Sure. Don't you think attractiveness is based on results?
They may be, but I don't care about those results.
The type of man that you want has options. He can choose Israel, India, Egypt.
Can I say I wouldn't want a man who didn't choose me?
The challenge is what you are bringing to the table, what you want. The other girls are not going to fight him for. You want him to support and join your team as well. These other 2 girls, India and Egypt, say, "I will just join this team. I'm not trying to do all those." They have the advantage over you. You are combative. You are combative. When talking to you, we're going to have to argue. With those girls, you don't have to argue. So the challenge is going to be, why would he choose them over you?
Wouldn't a man get bored by a woman who doesn't have any opinion or care at all?
Okay. And so the unfortunate reality is that is not true. And if you keep on viewing men view women the way you view men, you will keep on experiencing the same negative results over and over again. No, to answer your question, no, they will not get bored. It's actually peaceful.
That's how you do it, ladies. You go to dinner with a guy, you can have a great time. Towards the end, you start to act crazy, tell them all the medication you're on, and then you get a free dinner, and they'll never talk to you ever again.
The key thing when it comes to the passport pros is men in Western countries are dissatisfied with the behavior of Western modern women, and they're looking to South America and Asia for more feminine traditional women.
I think you're a bit ignorant to like the average guy's experience. Consider this, right? The average guy today, his granddad had to put in a quarter of the work to get the kind of woman that is 4 times as amazing His grandmother was an amazing woman and a very, very feminine, natural woman. And his granddad really didn't have to do the kind of work he has to do right now as a young man in the Western world.
So you're talking about hoflation.
Yes, it's hoflation.
Hoflation. So modern men have to work 5 times harder than their grandfathers did for women 20 times worse than what their grandmothers were. Women are asking for way more now and bringing the least.
You guys might make $1 million on only. You're trading $1 million for 45 to 70 years of loneliness. $1 million is a house.
They said they're okay with
It's not worth it, dude. There's a lot of life to live. She gave up a 3-year marriage to go to Miami. A 3-year marriage from Miami. She said, well, he didn't let me go to Miami.
You say men?
She threw away a 3-year marriage.
Sir, you're making her cry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. We just been through a lot, and I don't know what else to do.
All right, well, I guess
I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn it now.
the truth hurts. Women can't handle the truth. They really can't, bro.
After she dated the bad boy, she said she changed. She was a new person, and she decided, found God. And women tend to find God around like 27 to like 30s, early 30s, because it's in like time's running out. So they need to it's a mating strategy. So they need to basically say, I'm more pure than I actually am, and like I'm a higher value woman than I actually am. Basically,
because of technology, a lot of companies offer remote jobs, and a man can work in the United States and live abroad, or a man can start his own company. Thus, his finances can go a bit further in certain places of the world. He would not only be going to said destinations to find a traditional woman, but ultimately he's going there to live. Why can't they find a woman in the West, you say? Well, that's because of feminism. Women in the West tend to be obese, masculine, fake, and loaded down with too much baggage. Yes, there are some good girls, but there are way too many that are infected with the ways of the modern woman. The odds are higher simply to uproot yourself and to learn an entirely different culture and language in one's quest for love. It's not like Christianity is only in the West. The Bible does say he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. That's Proverbs 18:22. This solidifies that a man can be looking anywhere for a wife. The other side of red pill is the MGTOW. The men who take this path are done with women entirely. They don't want to interact with women in the first place. Since only 40% of men throughout history have ever passed on their genes to their offspring, they figure they can live their life alone. These men, if they did want to interact with women, would buy a prostitute for their carnal needs and not deal with women daily. There's a third option that I would be in favor for, but I feel that we're too late. And that would be women simply going back to being traditional women. One reason I feel that this won't happen is because we got women teaching other women how to be horrible women and how to con men out of their money. You ever heard of the sprinkle sprinkle lady?
If your woman is beautiful, you ain't the only one, especially if you're not paying all her bills.
300 on the bill. Any with money can 300 on the bill, or any.
You ain't the only one. If your woman look good, are you not paying all them bills? She have another one, just so you know.
We as women are being groomed by many of these content creators to be prostitutes. I used to listen to a lot of this like hypergamy, femininity content online, okay? The sprinkle sprinkle lady, I knew about her like way before she blew up on TikTok, all right? I was there. I used to listen to her consistently.
Never argue with a man. Exactly, cry. Like, crying is so much more feminine than arguing, and you get exactly what you want.
People like her I would listen to. Okay, she'd talk about the dusties and hypergamy and the kind of men you should be chasing. I used to listen to all of that before I got saved.
How do you ask men for money without feeling bad? Like this. Do you want to make me happy right now? Then whisper in his ear like this. I want you to take me to the ATM.
The Bible says that bitterness, when it takes root, actually defiles many people.
Men like toxic, sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay? If y'all haven't realized by now, men like toxic women.
Bitterness is contagious. When you are consistently listening to somebody who hates men,
always tell them to bring you something. I don't care if it's a pack of gum.
Who's constantly calling men dusties, dehumanizing men, you will eventually pick up and take on that mindset.
So get him in the habit. Start small and build. So build up to bigger things. Okay, so you got to make him get into the habit of wanting to do it.
When you become bitter towards men, when you become desensitized towards the fact that they are human beings and you start to hate them.
Pretty men are for before you have bills. All right, so if you ain't got no bills and you still young, go for all the pretty boys you want. Just don't get pregnant. When them bills start coming in, you got to change it up. You got to change it up.
This is when you start to really listen to the women that tell you to only use men for their money.
He's getting handsy and asking for kisses, and I don't like it. Okay. Then lie to him.
To, take him for everything he's worth.
If I kiss you, I'm going to fall for you.
To not care about love. To not care about any of the things that make a relationship beautiful, but to simply go after the money.
So I can't kiss you because I'm going to fall for you. And I don't know if you're ready for that level of commitment, such as taking care of me financially.
You are being trained based on what you're consistently feeding your mind to desensitize yourself towards human beings.
That way you just told him, look, if we kissing, I ain't working, you paying all these bills. I'm gonna be totally provided for because I'm gonna fall for you hard.
And because you have that hatred, because you are desensitized, that's when you go out and start to use men like how a prostitute would.
And you're gonna have to take care of me because you're gonna be responsible for it. So now he knows he got to start paying some bills if he wants them kisses and more. And then you just basically told him you're very attracted to him and how you're one of those women that just give their all, not really, to the men that they're with.
So what I want you to do is, Sprinkle has 2 different TikTok pages. I'm gonna put them here on the screen. I want you guys at least once a week to go to her TikTok page and watch all her videos. This way you'll know play by play what she's teaching them. So if any of these Sprinkle students of hers roll up on you with this nonsense, you'll already know who she's been following.
Her rhetoric got so out of hand that men after years flipped the rhetoric and said the same thing, but ended their quotes with drizzle drizzle. Leaders in finance predict that 40% of women will be childless and single by 2030. That's 6 years from now.
I think they're the prize.
We are.
Nobody's chasing you.
You are.
Nobody's.
You are. I'm not gonna lie. All I heard was, I'm broke. I'm broke. I'm broke. I'm an independent mommy. Like, what do I need a man for? Okay. Move in alignment with that. Why do you keep talking? Right? Now that I'm in my soft guy era, I'm starting to realize you guys actually do need us. We actually are the prize. You guys beg us, when are you going to take me serious? Never. How about that? Never. I'm never taking you serious because you're not paying for anything. You're just broke as shit. And then you want me to take you serious and date you. No. Pick up a bill. Once you pick up a bill, now we can start to talk.
Fellas, make sure you open your lady's car door. Feel me? She's supposed to be your queen.
I can't stand that mother. I swear to God, I can't stand that. She always on my body like I don't know what the fuck to do. Yeah. You know, she's supposed to be your freaking queen, and you gonna treat her like a mother queen. You feel me?
The males have started saying drizzle drizzle, like sprinkle sprinkle. It's a new generation of men are so feminine. Drizzle drizzle. I thought they were talking about Drake. It doesn't stick as good as sprinkle sprinkle.
Oh, yes, it do.
Sound like they're actually drooling. Okay. Sound like you drooling.
Drizzle, 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 drizzle.
Drizzle, drizzle.
Drizzle, drizzle. Drizzle, drizzle.
I'm a strong, independent man. And what I need is somebody to entirely depend on all the time, but that has no say in what I'm doing ever. I need a woman that will finance everything I want to do, all my hobbies, all my trips, everything I want to do. Drizzle, drizzle.
So there's this rich chick that's been hounding me for a couple weeks to go on a date with her. Finally say yes. She picks me up last night in an Aston Martin van, one of those V12 single turbos with the receding axle manifold. Sick car. She's a trial, so I'm like, huge red flag. But I'm like, you know what? It's a nice car. We're gonna go on anyway. And instantly she's feeling herself. The whole date she's saying some of the most egotistical stuff. So you know what? Every time she said something stupid, I just punish her by buying more oysters and buying more drinks. She kept trying to touch me. It was so uncomfortable. I could barely finish my 24-ounce ribeye. Like I'm not an equal, like I don't have value. Kings, where are the good women at?
Look, stay out my inbox with all the good morning, the hey handsome, the how you doing. Just send the money. Drizzle, drizzle. Just send the money. It's not that hard. Drizzle, drizzle. I mean, my best case scenario, I open up, you probably won't take me somewhere to like, what, Cheesecake Factory? Drizzle, drizzle. Are you out your mind? My Burberry cologne costs $250. My hair do $200. The girl who do it use salon quality products. It's $90 a bottle. Shampoo and conditioner. My beard oil, Maruca honey, tea tree oil, and lemon extract. It's $30 a bottle, head to toe, and vegan organic coconut oil. It's $40 a bottle. My shoes, Balenciaga, they cost me $9.50. I'm stepping out of Miri, baby. This is not Shein. This ain't Fashion Nova. This ain't City Trends. This how I'm coming. And you want me to step out with you for free? Drizzle, drizzle.
Look at some of these videos.
She don't pick up the bill. And she said, oh, you're not going to pay for it? I said, what? Drizzle, drizzle. I'm not going to pay for anything. That's giving me an ick. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you should be paying for the bill. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I got ready. Like, my suit cost like thousands of dollars.
And if you're not aware, this is literally what women say. They're like, no, a man should be paying for my dinner because my skincare costs like $500. And I bought this dress to look good, so you should pay for it. And so men, being fed up with it, have decided to counteract it in their own way by entering their soft guy era and being drizzle, drizzle kings. Here's another one.
Y'all want girls to pay for stuff. And honestly, bro, you type of dudes, bro, it's damn right. It's about time. Personally, if you ask me, it couldn't have been said better. I'm just relieved to know that it ain't just me. You want to come here asking me what I got to offer, what I bring to the table. Baby, I am the table.
Remember, fellas, you're the prize, drizzle, drizzle. And they're obviously commenting all of that because that is what women comment under these types of videos. Again, with total seriousness.
Guy era has me dying. Y'all all really out here saying drizzle, drizzle.
Drizzle, drizzle.
Pop off, kings. You got this. As a married man watching from the sidelines, this is hilarious to me. I didn't expect this type of reciprocation of energy. I do think some of these women deserve it because they've been asking for 6 foot, 6 figures, and 6, you get the point. And they're just clapping back with the same energy, you know? Now the comment sections are wild. Oh my gosh. Some of you guys unhinged. No hymen, no diamond. Oh my gosh, you need to calm down, y'all. Well, honestly, I think this is a great thing because it's going to show these crazy women that, you know, roles reversed. Don't you sound a little nuts? What happened to marrying for love? What happened to the women that want to turn men into kings? Where are the king makers? The ones that are going to stand by their man no matter what life throws at them.
The government is trying to put their hand into stopping the manosphere/red pill movement. And I don't see that happening.
The gist of it is this. They got government-funded programs to get red pillars out of here and get them demonetized or whatever it is. On their scale, you'd be male supremacy.
No, you would.
No, on their scale, you would become. You just saying what you said is male supremacy.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
On their scale, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah? Okay.
These guys are honestly as bad, and in some cases worse, because I see them serving as a gateway into this really toxic manosphere, phobic, misogynistic.
This one's a weird one. In 2023, a CVE organization called Peril at America University was awarded $750,000 under the DHS TVT program to inoculate teens against extremism. This program is overseen by MSNBC columnist Cynthia Miller Idris. You may remember her from when she was recently flamed by Elon Musk for her article relating physical fitness to white supremacy.
Other countries are facing their own crises as well. My beloved country of Japan, which I haven't visited yet, has this advertisement.
Now, in South Korea, yeah, we're giving world news today. World 3. Okay? Black men, Japan needs you.
We're here.
Japan is calling specifically for black men. Now, I know you are saying why, Tasha. They say they need babies, and black men tend to make a lot of them.
Facts. Facts.
Black men. The Japanese government requests our help. The women of Japan demand us. They know we are the world's best. That's why they need us. They need our strong genes to repopulate the diminishing Japanese population. They need our seed, our strength, our intelligence, our strong legs to carry them throughout the rest of time. Black men Japan needs you.
Man, they already making videos about this joke, man.
So the recent number that's come up is 100 million. So what do I mean by 100 million? So right now it's estimated that between the ages of 20 to 40, there are at least 100 million women that is single, unmarried, and childless. That seems to be a little bit insane, considering that there are so many excess men. So every single Chinese woman should be able to easily find a good match, right? Well, that's what you would think, right? So in China, there's a term for this. It's called 剩女. So 剩女 literally translates to a leftover woman. Now, many years ago, let's say back in the 1980s, if you hit the age of 25 and if you're still not married, you were considered 剩女. And then many women started freaking out about this, and they pushed the age back to 27 and 28. And now the standard in 2024 to be considered to be a 剩女 in China is at the age of 30.
There's a simple problem. Men want feminine women. Women want a protector and provider. We've gotten far from that in the West. Either women change or men are going to go where the feminine women are. There are more women outside of the United States than there is inside it. 169,300,000 women live in the United States as of 2023. 2,260,700,000 women live outside of the United States. Women were fed the lie. Go to college, get a good job, because you can't depend on a man when their dream was to be a stay-at-home wife. This happened because of fear. Fear that a man will leave a woman high and dry, but this isn't what the scripture teaches. 1 Peter 3:6, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are if you do good and are not afraid with any terror. Now they bring their useless degree debt to a relationship, so a man has to be filthy rich so that she can live like she wants to live, while offering nothing to the man in return. The Disney princess lies were believed. Well, now men can do the most romantic thing ever. They can travel all around the world to find their love. They will stop and marry a fit, feminine, friendly, childless, and in their eyes, gorgeous woman who wants to be their helpmeet, like God intended when he made women. The problem is, it just won't be commonly women from the West.
Drives me nuts is women who can't apologize.
Oh, accountability.
But they cannot own up at all. Like they refuse. So much so that a guy that I dated before I met my husband, I remember we had some type of argument and I said, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said something that way. And he almost passed out because he was like, no woman in his life had ever said, I'm sorry.
Of course.
And he was like, what the hell?
Of course.
And I was raised like my parents, my mom and dad raised me to be like, when you do something wrong or you hurt somebody's feelings and you go back and you apologize. So that was bred into me.
Hey, mama didn't raise no fool.
So but I see women, even my friends will have a fight with their boyfriend or their husband. And I'll have to tell them, listen, you need to apologize.
So he said, hey, you married? And I was like, yes. And he said, you happy? And I was like, no, and? And the reason why I said no was because, one, I'm brutally honest, and two, I was not happy at the time. But what does me being unhappy have to do with whether or not you have a shot? Here's the thing I realized. A lot of married people don't know how to be unhappily married and still not walk away. If you could learn how to be unhappy for a minute, your marriage will last. Because the goal in marriage is not happiness. The goal is to build a lasting relationship that withstands the ebbs and flows of marriage, of relationships.
DeMarco, we need another one. Where's the applause? Someone finally said it.
So we need to pray for the women of the West. Thank you, Father God, for all your redemptive powers and your ability to buy back and redeem, your ability to make things that were wrong right. We come to you because we have sinned, we have erred from your ways, and we ask for you to forgive us, Lord God. We thank you for 1 John 1:9, because you are if we do confess our sins, you are faithful and just to forgive us of them and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Help the women of the West, Lord God, these modern women who have strayed from your path, who don't want to adhere to what you have called them to be, which is a help for a man. They want to be boss babes. They want a man to bow down to them, Lord Father God. They want to use a man as a way to increase in their life, Lord God. We ask that you forgive them, Lord God, and share and show them the error of their ways and help them to be able to repent. And Lord Father God, we pray that you will make a way for them. We don't know what that may look like, Lord God. You may cause these women to live an entire life in singlehood, and they may have to be teachers of the youth behind them, and it may be redeemed in the generation after them, Lord God. We don't know, but we ask for you to make it right. And for these things, we pray and we ask for you to be praised, because none of this took you by surprise. You are an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing God. And so we thank you for all these things, and we lift it up to you now. In Jesus' holy, mighty, and majestic name, we pray. Amen. Till next time, this is your boy, Legend Moyai. And just like I always say, if this is your last piece of entertainment, which I do hope it is, I hope that you'll take the time to do something more beneficial for yourself, improve yourself, make yourself a better person, learn skills that you've always wanted to learn. Be good to one another. Recognize that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the only way to get to heaven. Believe upon him, be saved. Be blessed. This is your boy, Legend Moyai. Out.
There are a lot of modern women out there that are panicking around the ages 28 to 31 because they're exiting the party phase and they're desperate to find a beta provider. They're thinking, please God, I know I've been a bad girl sleeping around with chads, but I'm ready to be a good girl the rest of my life if you give me a blue-pilled guy. And she typically finds a poor-souled simp to tie the knot, or she becomes a pompous career woman cat lady the rest of her life.
I quit at being independent. I don't want to do this anymore. This is draining. Take care of me. My tires popped. 2 of my tires popped. And I'm sitting in my car because I don't know what the f to do. Obviously, I know what the f to do, but I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm ready to have someone come into my life and take care of me. This is so draining, this independent life. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. I want to be spoiled and taken care of. Because I shouldn't have to be stressing about like this.
Purity is appealing to guys, meaning, again, that you didn't hop in and out of bed with everybody. Innocence also means that you haven't been jaded by the world. It's a beautiful thing. It means that you haven't been through a bunch of relationships that left you feeling dark. It means that you don't have a lot of that baggage that you pull from a bad relationship back into the next one. It means that you've had less hurt, less pain, less crying, less stress navigating the ups and downs of life because you're younger and you just haven't been through that stuff yet. And a good guy, a really good guy, will want to spare you some of that stuff. He'll want to come into your life and create something for you, stability and financial and otherwise. And, he'll want to protect you and he'll want to provide for you. So you don't have to go through a lot of the stuff that some modern women do go through in those 20s. That's awful and painful and horrible. So they're trying to get you before all of that. What is bad about that? That seems like a perfectly reasonable human instinct, male instinct. If a woman enters into a relationship with a man and he does her dirty, right? She's going to walk away. She is going to feel that damage. She is going to be like, maybe he cheated on her. And she's now distrusting of other men. Now that next guy who walks into the picture has got to deal with all that garbage because it's like, even though he didn't do it, he's constantly looking at her. She's crying. She's suspicious. She's this, she's that. She's carrying that burden of what her experiences were with her past into that next relationship. So when guys go for younger girls, and by the way, I mean legal, I'm talking about them going for a 22-year-old instead of a 46-year-old. Oftentimes, that means that woman's just been exposed to less garbage in the world.
You gotta remember, when guys are out working hard, putting a dent in the universe, and they're doing something of some significance, they don't want to come home to a nightmare. They don't want to come home to a fight. They don't want to come home to, what? They want pleasantries, love, a nice meal. They want to see beauty.
But there's something to be said about age and experience, life experience. A lot happens in your 20s, and things level out.
Getting ran through in baggage and trauma.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's people with
men don't want that.
We don't like experience.
Men don't
want that in a partner.
Then why aren't they
experience,
wifing us early? Why are they running around town? Like, you know, if they don't want us ran through and back into trauma, why are they like they're waiting till like how are we so at 20 I should be looking for 40-year-olds that are ready to settle? Like I don't know how to
not necessarily.
I don't know how you it sounds like just a losing battle all around if you look at it as like all the responsibilities.
But
like,
it depends on if you're a wife. All wives are found, always. If you're 20 years old and you're a wife, you're going to be found, period. In the story.
Like a man being like, I'm only going to date younger women, like blah, 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 trying to just...
Versus
like,
women saying I'm only going to date rich men, and I'm going to do this if they
that's
pay me.
transactional.
Yeah, but what's the difference?
He wants a young woman.
Reverse it, what's
and
the
she's
difference?
getting
What's
paid.
the metric? What's the standard that makes one
That a
disgusting
woman-
and the other one acceptable?
Because she's
Just asking. It's a genuine
because she's
thing.
seeking out the relationship. It's a transactional relationship. It's not a man going after a woman based on inexperience.
And he's seeking out a relationship too, and maybe he wants a woman who's younger, who's had number one less bodies. Because let's keep it real, the older a woman gets, the more bodies she's had.
And what problem?
Purity
What problem
valued,
is that?
Purity is valued.
So
in
do you think
literally
that
every
man
single
has to be
culture,
pure as
every
well?
single religion? No, because men and women are different, and men have to work really hard to get sex. Women are.
Oh my god.
What is your body count?
5, 4.
What is the chances I can make yours 5 and 6?
Can you do a little twirl for us? Yeah, we're in the shoes.
Rick Owens.
Okay.
Who's your day?
Is it real?
This is real.
I can make it a 6. I can make it 5. Oh my god, we can be Eskimo sisters. Y'all do this on YouTube?
Oh, this is about to be on.
He got that.
Any conspiracy theories that you've heard, like, or seen on the internet that you think that could be true?
The gods are loyal.
Especially to me, because it's what I don't know anything.